It's 10:30 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Well, hopefully they're going to listen to this show off the rails, 787network.com. If you would like to call the program and partake in the madness, or try to set it straight, or just call me a dick or whatever, the Refresh Telecom line, 1-800-525-4032. That's Refresh Telecom. He probably wouldn't like us using his name for this part of the show. 1-800-525-4032, because he won't give your information to the NSA, which is always nice if you're somebody that doesn't want the NSA to look at you. However, if you believe that, more than likely the feds will be coming down to raid your house soon.
Wow.
Do you know something, man? Do you guys, let me ask you a question, because I know the answer already, but I'm asking it anyway. You guys don't listen to me at 5:30 in the morning, do you?
No.
All right, well, look, I don't get to do the same show at 5:30 in the morning that I get to do here. You know what I'm saying? Just because it ain't my show. And I respect the person. You know, Captain's great. I love Captain and all. But it's just a different show.
Right.
This week has been one of those weeks, though. There's a lot going on everywhere, all at the same time. And there's some characters that are coming out this week that we haven't seen come out in a while that really do need to be, for lack of a better term, smacked down. If there's a word for if that's the right way of saying it.
Smackdown.
And also, people need to understand what's currently going on right now, too, when it comes to certain people. Like, you know how all the time we always hear about, you know, Rand all the time and ran this and ran that? Okay. when I get, and again, we'll get to it, but there's certain weeks that are banner weeks that if you're looking for the reasons why I don't support the guy, this is the week. What's going on right now is the reason why. And again, you can call playing the game, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but at a certain point, when there's American lives on the line, you better be loud and proud of where you stand, and that you stand with the vast majority of the American people, and you don't do that. But we're going to get to that during the show, if you have, as long as everybody agrees with it. Again, this is freewheeling central, but I'm just saying.
We ain't even doing introductions this week.
Hold on, I'm going to get to that. Hold on, you're right. My bad. Hold on, you're right.
It's going to be good. This is going to be a good show this week.
It could be. All right, first off, we got let's see how we're going to do this week. Let me figure this out. Hold on a second here. Give me a second.
This is how off the rails we are.
Big J, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very well. It's been a busy week, like you said.
Yeah, I bet it has in a lot of different levels, man. You know. Also with us, V for Vendetta, V for Victoria, V for Victoria. Yeah, Victoria, how you doing?
Veronica.
Oh yeah, Veronica. I'm sorry. I just kept saying Victoria, hoping I could just like forcefully make it Victoria, because that's the only name I remembered at the time. But how are you doing?
Wonderful. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. You think that shirt's gonna stay up the whole time?
Hope not.
That could be the goal.
You know what? It looks like one of those shirts that I see women wear that look very nice on the woman, yet it is a high-maintenance shirt. And what I mean by that is this, is that it does require that you're constantly having to adjust, which why in and of itself could not necessarily be a bad time. I would imagine it's annoying for the woman.
Yeah. A lot of work. Takes a lot of work to stay that beautiful.
Yeah, it does. Well, you know, different, whatever happens, Also in studio, now if you are driving down the road and you go and you turn down a road and you hit something called Sinister, the town of Sinister, normally a government structure would have a mayor or something else along those lines. However, the town of Sinister does not work and operate that way. There is such a thing as a prime minister of the Sinister, right? So the name of the city is called The Sinister.
The Sinister. Did we look this up that one night?
Oh, yeah.
And he's laying it on thicker and heavier as he went.
But here's the thing. Greg Bowen was elected as the prime minister of the Sinister. Greg Bowen, how you doing, sir?
Spectacular.
Hey, here's the thing. You didn't think I had anything else in the bag, did you? You didn't think I had nothing in the bag. You didn't know where I was going to go, but you didn't think I had that in the bag. That was in the quiver, ready to aim out.
You've been waiting like 3 weeks for that one.
I think I thought of that one a couple weeks ago, but subconsciously is what I thought about it. At any rate, I hope everybody's doing well. A lot going on. All right, you know what? I'm going to ask... We're going to go by consensus here. Let's just going to say, I'm going to give you 4 options. First option is going to be this, is that it's going to be called our completely insane bonkers foreign policy. That's door A. Door B is the guy that got arrested, the prepper that got arrested for prepping. All right? And C, Mixed bag, and we just figure something else out. It's almost like C is like floating Noda, almost.
I always go Noda.
I know you always go Noda, but here's the thing: you can't pick Noda this time, though. You can if you want.
Here's A, B, and C, and C is locked. So pick between A and B.
Well, I'm not saying that though. But here's the thing: normally you do always pick Noda, but if there's something, here's the thing: we either talk about those subjects or we don't. If you pick Noda, we don't talk about them by the rules of Noda. Are you willing to say we don't even talk about that stuff for the show tonight?
Oh no, we're talking about all that stuff.
No.
Right?
So we got.
I'm saying all that and more.
All that and more.
All that and more.
Do you want to start there or you want to start somewhere else?
Let's start there. Let's start where we actually have direction.
So Greg went.
Okay, well,
Greg's taking door D.
All right, there we go. All right, so let's start with where you want to really want to start though. Let's go with the prepper guy because this one's actually kind of funny. Not funny,
and it's local.
And it's local, yeah. So the thing is that there is a gentleman. I'm gonna pull up. I know Adrian hasn't put this out yet, so I won't say what Adrian wrote, but he was very clinical in what he did. So, and he's probably gonna get mad at me for even talking about this, but I know he's gonna put something out about it. But at any rate, basically, the facts of the matter is this: there's a gentleman here in the state of Florida, and his name is. I'm scrolling to the top just to make sure I get all this information right here. Oh man, Gee and Eddie. Martin Winters.
Martin Winters. Okay, I got the story.
Martin Winters is a prepper. He's got a team of people. They're all prepping. That's not under debate. Now, what they'll say is, well, he's prepping because he thinks it's the end of the world and he's a strong Christian and he believes that the Bible's telling him that it is. And that may be the truth of why he's doing it. Really irrelevant at the end of the day, I think, to the story, but this is told in the story in a way to skew your mind to a certain level at this point.
In every generation, there are Christians who think this generation is the end of times and this is when it's all going to go down. So it's not odd to me when you point one out.
Yeah,
I would venture to say though, there's a whole lot of non-Christian people that are prepping.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying.
even those people at all times.
As far as that view goes, it's not a stretch. It's really not abnormal.
Yeah, not abnormal. But they're treating it as it is, like he's an extremist and this and that. Look, if you're a dude that lives in Florida, first off, you should want to prepare a little bit anyway.
Yeah, if you live in Florida and you don't have 7 days worth of food and water and everything prepped, then you're kind of an idiot.
Yeah, but this guy's taking it seriously. Like he's not just a 7-dayer. This guy is working towards complete societal breakdown, that kind of shit. I mean, he's working to that though, and is prepping as such. Now, if you're prepping to do that, you're going to be wanting to make sure that not only do you have the food, but you have the means in which to protect the food that you made.
Absolutely.
And that means you got to carry weapons. Now, not only do you got to carry weapons, you got to have a bunch of them because you just can't have just one weapon. You should have a bunch of them in case you want other people to come and help you, but they're not armed. You can supply them with the weapons for your area in order to protect your land because it would take more than one person to protect the land no matter what. Now, you could also be doing this against the government if you wanted to, but not necessarily. And this dude's doing it for all circumstances, but if you ask him, and the government, he'd say, yep, and the government. At least that's from my understanding of this guy. Now, Greg, and you'll know this, we actually know somebody that lives on the same street as this guy.
Okay.
Do you know that we know this?
I did not know that.
Oh, Dana.
Okay.
Lives on the same street as this guy.
Okay.
You know what else this guy does? So he's a prepper, right? So what else does he do, though, when he's there? He lays out food for free.
Yeah, he runs a free produce stand. And at Halloween, he sets up a haunted trail along a 1-mile stretch on his property for the enjoyment of the neighbors.
Yeah. He doesn't shoot just anybody that walks onto his property. He's never actually shot anybody that's walked onto his property yet, as far as I know. If he'd have done that, we would know that by now, right?
Yeah, that's just true.
One of his friends is quoted here as saying he's been a civic kind of leader and a helper his whole life in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so this guy's doing pretty good. Now, they're saying in what they're talking about in the media that this guy has, said that, he wants to blow up, he's going to set up booby traps for agents with fishhooks and, make bombs and stuff like that, right? He's going to kill people when they walk onto his property and shit. But here's the thing. That's not what the indictment says. The indictment just says, you possibly may have some, weapons that you shouldn't have, that you haven't gotten registered or whatever it is.
Well, apparently he's made a couple of his own that are not in the same, I guess, they're not regulated.
Yeah.
And he didn't have them.
No, he doesn't. No, there's no plans though to lay these things out, even if they're there. Which honestly, there's no confirmation that these things are even there yet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The warrant says that they're looking for these things, but it doesn't mean they found them. I mean, I could have a warrant on Greg saying I'm looking for, $20 million that's sitting in his back pocket. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have 20 million sitting in your back pocket. Do you have, Greg? Do you have 20 million sitting in your back pocket?
No.
Okay.
If
If you did, would you even tell me? No, I wouldn't tell me.
No.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, then
we might go in the other room and grab that gun real quick.
Well, no, because I like Greg.
If you were carrying around $20 million, would you carry it around in a steel briefcase or like a plastic grocery bag?
It's a very good point.
Like somebody carrying around a steel briefcase is like begging to be mugged, almost.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. All right, so. But any of the allegations that he was going to go out and kill anybody aren't true, because if they were true, well, here's the thing. The government is not alleging that he had done that in official channels. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my phone was down there.
Yeah, and it's low battery.
Oops.
Because it's been providing light under the table.
No. It's kind of funny, actually. So this guy, though, has done nothing wrong in reality. He's just a prepper, and he leads a group of preppers. So what is the response from the federal government? You got helicopters, you got SWAT team, you got all this other stuff that's going on that's crazy out of control. You're bum rushing the guy's house. You know what? At this point, thinking that the government's going to come and get you, and then watching said government come to get you, that'd probably make me want to bug out and go figure this stuff out and not let them take me right now, because they're probably going to kill me. And looking at the government, because they don't got him for anything, and the media's lying about him and misportraying the dang story as it is, and not putting the part in that he actually feeds his freaking neighbors free freaking food. Like, you want to talk about somebody that's charitable? It's this guy. This guy's doing it to try to help him better his community, and he's trying to make sure he's prepared, because you government people have screwed this crap up like you've never seen it before. Who can blame the guy for wanting to be prepared, considering what we got looking at from Tallahassee to Washington, D.C. to your local freaking government? Are you kidding me? These people, you guys are violating the Constitution left and right. The least this guy could do is to prepare a little bit. Thank God for people like this. And what do? You come down with the SWAT and freaking just bring them up? The thing is, they're wrong for this one. They know they're freaking wrong for this one. And they are doing this shit on purpose. And this should give you the biggest scare job that's anything's given you. And this is not fear-mongering. They did this shit in Tampa. They didn't do this shit in fucking Oklahoma or fucking or Washington State or any. They did this down off of where we live. Where we live, this listening area, this is happening around here. That's and they asked the sheriff, and the sheriff's like, well, it's the feds. What can you do? How about your job, a-hole? How about you don't allow them to do this kind of stuff? Because they're not supposed to. How about you protect the citizens? How about innocent till proven guilty? Like, the thing is, this guy turned himself in with 2 lawyers. He lawyered up. Was he really looking to shoot you today? Or was he looking to lawyer up? And you're like, well, I don't know what he was willing to do. Look, you didn't have enough to go down and do this. And meanwhile, you brought somebody in. And here's the thing. Think about it like this. They had a dude on the inside that looked around this whole freaking thing. And this is the best charges that they can come up with a spy in there? With a snitch? You ain't got nothing, an FBI guy at that? And this is all you got? Like, you know what, man? You are literally trying to justify your uselessness. And you're using the laws that they just made in order to prove that you're not an inept SOB that's got their head up their ass, that believed the Southern Poverty Law Center report when you actually should have went and had a conversation with an American. Like, screw you. This guy's a good guy, and he's a patriot. The fact that you guys are doing this is crap all day long. The fact the sheriff doesn't want to do anything about it, that's crap all day long, too. Is that it's both just crap, and you guys suck for doing this stuff. It's shameful what you're doing, that you bow to the feds like a I don't know, but something bad. That's what you bow to. That's what I'm saying about that.
Wow. Okay, so I'm looking at pictures of his house. Okay, he's got one sign on his front gate. It says,
First of all, let me just say, it looks exactly like my father-in-law.
This sign says, no trespassing. Nothing past this gate is worth dying for.
I love it.
It's a good sign.
On his front window, there's a sign that says, "I'm one day away from being on a rooftop with a rifle."
It's a good time.
Yeah, all those.
I can't quite
Yeah.
tell.
How about the free eggs part?
He's got all kinds of Post-it notes. I can't read any of them on the a Duck Dynasty
Dynasty.
picture. I don't know. Interesting guy, nonetheless.
Eccentrics to say the least.
Eccentric.
I mean, totally eccentric.
Again, his whole thing about the end of times. There's a lot of people that believe that. Don't really think it's madness. I mean, I don't agree with him, but I mean, there's a lot of people that think that. So,
Well, Greg, let me ask the question another way, though. Do you think that it's possible that we have a societal breakdown via the government? I mean, you would say that there's odds of that happening. Could you take that and have it almost mean about the same thing as end of times? I mean, it just, dude's got a biblical way of trying to explain it, but it doesn't change the facts on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
well, I mean, he's clearly saying it's the religious end of times from.
Well, and they're holding this guy
as
with,
written
and they're
in the
holding
book
this
of
guy without
Revelation.
bail, by the way, which is crap.
For having an unregistered weapon? Really?
Yeah, they're
That's
holding him without bail.
ridiculous.
So now, don't get me wrong. The guy ran away when the cops first got to him, but he came back in on his own.
Recognizance.
He came in on his own,
And-
and he just wanted to bring some lawyers with him to make sure he wasn't going to get screwed.
So
Or shot, for that matter.
Yeah,
what they're saying is he showed a federal agent booby traps. One booby trap that shoots fishing hooks and is going to trap and immobilize intruders, and another one that is metal pipes that fire 12-gauge shotgun shells. Now, his friend, this guy that's been quoted, he's saying he never laid a hand on anyone, and he wouldn't talk to a stranger about plans to shoot federal agents. That just ain't the man I know. They'd have to play me a tape of that before I'd buy it. And that sounds reasonable to me. I mean, even if you are the type of person that's coming up with plans to like booby trap for federal agents, you just don't talk about that to anybody.
yeah.
You're not advertising it.
Especially somebody you don't really know, because it ain't like the dude was undercover for years waiting for this guy. And if it was, that's even more of a waste of time than what you'd normally see. I mean, this has just honestly what this looks like is this. They hate preppers. The government hates preppers.
Absolutely.
And you know what? They're going to try to make an example of a couple with some crapped up doctored shit in order for the rest of them to calm down. And in all honesty, they're going to have the exact opposite effect, because since they don't understand, foreign terrorism, they're not going to understand what they're going to consider here to be domestic terrorism. If that's the word you want to use, then that's perfectly fine with me. But the thing is this. You want to talk about the real terrorists, though? Let's talk about the real terrorists. And they're not this guy who's prepping because your boys have screwed it up in Washington, D.C. and up in Tallahassee. And that's all of them. It's a bipartisan effort up there. Jerks. You know what I mean? And then you got the nerve to try to label this guy. I love the beard, though. I got to tell you, big fan of the beard.
One consistent thing amongst all preppers, whether they're doing it because they believe it's the end of times from the Bible or because of whatever, all of them understand that they can't count on anybody, especially the government, to help them or be any way a positive influence when the shit hits the fan. And the government doesn't like that. They don't like people not trusting in them. He's speechless.
You know what, man? He's allowed to do this stuff.
You're allowed to grow food on your own property.
Adrian just posted his statement on it.
Oh, did he? Oh, good. I'm glad he got to that then. I hope he put it on his damn website. I hope he's listening right now. If he's listening, put it on your website too, man. So.
Hello, Eddie Chehanik, who's watching the show right now. If you want to call in, the studio line is 1-800-525-4032.
Thank you. Thank you very much, by the way. What's that now?
But
I want to hear Adrian's.
Well, I'm sharing it on the Off the Rails page right
Do you
now.
want me to read it to you? It's long, though. I read
is
it already.
long.
It's long.
I'm sharing it on the Off the Rails Facebook page
Yeah.
right now.
I'll give you his conclusion on the whole thing. Without knowing Mr. Winters or any members of the River Cody Preppers, I cannot know their characters or their intentions. I can only draw reasonable conclusions from the evidence at hand. It does not appear that Mr. Winters or the River Otter Preppers constituted a threat to anyone. It appears that the FBI reacted with unnecessary force. They terrorized and disrupted a peaceful neighborhood. They manipulated the local media and with unsubstantiated claims and mischaracterizations, Sheriff G gave the FBI carte blanche authority to conduct these operations and failed to uphold his oath of office. Given the circumstances of the case, I, as governor, would never have allowed the FBI to conduct this operation in Florida.
That's my man right there.
That's my governor.
Kick them feds out.
Yeah.
I tell you what, well, I guess the cat's gonna be out of the bag now, but. And I was talking to Dana. I put it on. We were on her page earlier. This is something that now preppers are just going to have to prep quietly. You know, and you know, I have a handful of friends that I'm like, hey, when it all hits the fan and you're all over the country, and some of them are probably listening right now, and the very, very liberal type, and Dave knows exactly who I'm talking to. And I always say, when all this stuff hits the fan and your currency no longer exists and you don't have any food, well, you know where I'll be. So find a way to get down here.
Yeah. Look, man, again, here's the thing. The guy can be completely nuts in prepping and nothing's going to happen. There is definitely a possibility of that scenario holding true. However, are you willing to risk your life over something like that? And if the answer is yes, then by all means, don't worry about it. But the answer is no, then don't give this guy any crap because he was doing it and the feds decided to go after him because they made prepping a damn way to, you can be
terrorist.
You can be a terrorist and they can come and infiltrate your organization or your unit of 5 people in your neighborhood that are all prepping and keeping all their food together. Like, screw you, government, you bastards. Get the hell out of people's business. It's just, you know what, man? You guys suck. You guys just suck out loud because it's your fault this guy's got to do it too. It's seriously, think about it. It's like Harry Brown. Harry Brown says government's like this. Something comes around, breaks both your damn legs, hands you the crutches, and then expects you to thank them because they handed you a pair of crutches. Like,
If it wasn't for us, you couldn't walk.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it just pisses me off so bad.
And we should tax you for those crutches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, you want to give a friend a ride now? You're considered a taxi service. They're going to come and get you for that too.
Don't worry, Alex. Butt hurt will be covered by Obamacare soon enough.
I guess, but I'm just saying. I mean, this just is stupid, though, that they're doing this stuff. And here's the thing: you remember the video? Adrian put it back out, which I thought was very apropos.
Yes, he reposted that.
Part 1. This is a great four. This is a great 4-part series. It's describing exactly what they just did. Mm-hmm. That's what they did that caused them to do it. Like, they got the playbook. I hate to say it, it's documented. It's on record, man. It's well documented by 1787 Network. You know, Adrian Wiley, 1787 Network. I love that. I swear to God, I still love that guy. I don't care. I do, man. I got nothing but respect for the guy because you know what? I go to bed listening to him. So, hey, somebody's calling, by the way.
Holy cow!
God, I wonder. Hopefully, they want something good. Hey, tell them they don't have any pizza.
Off the rails.
Tell me we want pizza.
Oh yeah, bring pizza. What do you think, Heather? What's your?
Let me bring up.
What are you doing over there? Oh, he's dialing. I should talk while he's dialing, though. So. Or somebody should talk while he's dialing.
I mean,
we don't even know who he's talking about right now. We don't know who he's talking to.
I'll handle transferring the call.
You'll handle that. Oh, my bad.
You cover the air while I'm doing
I got
that,
you.
you know
We're
what
just
I'm
so
saying?
curious on who's going to be on. Oh, they're dialing again. Is somebody else calling in? Boy, this is amazing. Right. I got to give it to Adrian, though. I think what he did was spot on.
This is Tim. Let me go ahead and bring him on.
This is Tim, huh?
Tim.
Hello.
Hey, Tim, how are you doing?
Alex, what's going on, brother? It's Tim Ward, brother.
Oh, shit, Tim Ward, huh? How you doing, man?
Oh, it's so good. I saw your Facebook post, and I couldn't wait to tune in. I was actually sitting out in my driveway, and I was drinking a beer trying to get to sleep, and saw that you were on the air, and, yeah, could not help myself but call in on this topic.
Yeah, tell us, where are you at on this?
I have no idea where to even begin. I'm just 100% confused as to why it's that big of a deal to post provocative signs Which, I mean, a lot of them, yeah, probably wouldn't put them on my front door, but that's besides the point. Storing food as a quote-unquote prepper now all of a sudden can make you be labeled a domestic terrorist. I'm a little confused. I don't exactly understand where the argument is you lock a guy like that up without bail.
Yeah, no. I'm totally with you on that one. I mean, he didn't do anything. He hasn't infringed on anyone's rights. They have nothing on him for that, and that gets you without bail because they call you dangerous.
Alex, you and I both know that you don't need to infringe upon anyone's rights anymore in order to make them feel unsafe. You just have to hurt their feelings, and this is really just all about feelings.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on this one. It's just, you know what kills me? Oh, you got to put that on, Gary.
I don't feel safe.
That guy made a gun in his own house.
He needs to be off the streets. I don't feel safe.
Yeah, this guy who's honestly giving food to his neighbors for free. Well, that's got to be something we got to stop there.
Wait,
God forbid we do
he's
that.
feeding people for free?
Yeah. Well, we got to stop that though. No revenue in that.
Food
I swear
terrorist.
to God, I was listening to you guys have this conversation, and I was seconds away from breaking into my Alex Jones impersonation.
Oh, do it. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go, please, if you can. Do it.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on. I'll let you prepare first. So I'll talk a little bit here. I'll let you prepare. I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second, mate. Go ahead and just get into a mental mindset that you need to be in. You know, because I know you do it so well though. We got to make sure we can get it done if we can.
On the air live now, Alex Jones.
It actually isn't that hard to break into. You break into it very, very quick, and you do it like this, and you speak very, very quickly. Because we're talking about the Illuminati, and we're talking about, I see, that's how quick I lose it.
Yeah. You lost it. You got it, and you lost it, man. Oh, that sucks, man. That's all right.
Yeah,
though.
that was pretty good, though.
It's not bad, though.
Yeah,
Look, you know what it is? When you're in studio, and you're doing it in studio, I think that having the mic adds to the experience for the person doing it.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something for that.
I don't think I have ever had more fun than when I was sitting in the studio with you and Adrian and Danielle, and was able to jump into that impression. It was all
classic,
started. We were
man.
hanging out in the parking lot, just sitting around talking, and then all of a sudden the Alex Jones impersonation had a chance to build up, and then it kind of became its own thing, and that was one of the most fun times I've had on radio, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of shows.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
But
a lot of fun.
I got to tell you, that's a very dangerous precedent that we're setting, that when someone does something that is, oh gosh, I don't even really know how to describe it, quote unquote, threatening to the sensibilities of people around him. He's storing food. He's storing guns. He's storing ammunition. Brother, I got 2 babies on the way. I know all about storing food. And I also happen to hunt and shoot for sport. I have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. So all of those things, I guess you could put them all together, and I'm really surprised that the feds haven't showed up already.
No,
I mean, I guess
they're just waiting to take their turn.
Necessarily.
I actually,
until right now. I mean, I'm absolutely broadcasting it right now. But it's just, the precedent that it sets is unfreaking believable.
yeah, it truly is, man. And they were just, and you know what? They didn't even bat an eye at it. Didn't even bat an eye. Just said, you know what? We're just going to do this and whatever. You know, and they're harassing all the people that live in the neighborhood. We know that firsthand. Again, this ain't a made up story. We've talked to the people that are getting harassed in the neighborhood. We know people that live in the neighborhood. Dana lives in the neighborhood, for Pete's sake. And I mean, here's the thing. What do you want us to do now? They're knocking at the door now. Now, what do you want us to do? Do you think that the FBI was allowed to do this for a guy that they got nothing on? The indictment's bunk, man. It's BS. Their own words, it's BS. Any more than that, and they've been on there.
And then, like, furthermore, when has the FBI ever waited for authorization to do anything? They apologize after the fact. That's how they operate. And, you know, we have a federal law enforcement agency which is, for all intents and purposes, above the law.
Yeah, well, once they can start going into your property and just saying, hey, you know what? You got too much food. Hey, you know what? You have too many weapons. You can't protect your food. And the currency's crashing, and your only support has to be coming from us. We don't want you to be able to support yourself. You know, it sets a dangerous precedent.
Well, see,
Absolutely.
now I feel even worse because I have a savings account.
Oh, there you go.
I actually, try to prepare for the future by putting money away and not spending money frivolously.
Oh, don't pay cash.
Oh my God!
That's another check on the list, man. What are you trying to play bingo tonight? You trying to get bingo?
No, trust me. I get hemmed up on taking you all with me.
Oh yeah, no,
I mean,
it's only a matter of time, man. Honestly, it's a race to the top, man. You can either get high enough and big enough where they can't mess with you, and then you can do what you want, or you get caught. You got to speed, man. You got to know when you're speeding.
That's why I'm hoping to have like buddies like you elected, so that when we all decide to go completely off kilter and become like this big criminal government enterprise, at least I'm an insider.
Yeah. Well, no. Here's the way I look at it is you want the people, as much as we're fighting to get people elected in office right now. I just want people like us in there when it crashes, because we're going to need reasonable people to rebuild it, because it could go towards tyranny or go towards liberty, one way or the other. That all depends on who's in control at the time that the vacuum happens. You know what I mean?
See, I don't want us in there when it happens. I want us ready to fill that vacuum, because the people who are in there when it happens get the blame. They end up with their head on a pike.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
We hope.
And don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying, though, but you still got to work towards the same thing because we're so far behind anyway, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the problem. I mean, the way the rules are set, no matter where you turn, we're always behind. I'm so happy to see that Adrian's going to be a part of, these debates, and I think that's fantastic. I'm just, I'm concerned about the people who moderate, who will do their best to marginalize the only message in this country that makes any sense anymore.
Yeah. You know what, man? Here's the thing, man. To be honest with you, we got to be better than that. Yeah, we got to be above that. We got to be able to be so friggin' lethal with our words, not by actions, saying by words, by lethal. But by lethal by words, you just got to let us on the stage and we'll take care of the rest. Adrian's good enough to where even the moderator he can get around that, because it's not like he answers questions all the time anyway.
That's because he's a radio guy.
Well, he's got a little bit of training in that. Though you should, everybody, if you're going to be a candidate, to be honest with you, go on radio for a little while and just do some talking. Like, you can be like non-controversial and stuff, but like you should do some talking, because that does train you though. Like Greg used to be a mute, man.
Still am sometimes.
And it's crazy that we're talking about this happening in a major metropolitan area.
Yeah, in Tampa, man.
This is the Tampa Bay area. This is the third largest growing city in the state of Florida, and the state of Florida is like one of the first top 3 largest growing states in the country.
I guarantee you, we've been to an event with this guy too.
Yeah, this is not like a I'm in Nevada somewhere in the hills, and and I'm hiding all this stuff in the Fed show. This is like in a development.
Yeah, the only thing that saved his life.
Really.
Ridged his ass.
That being said, like, Nevada doesn't sound that bad right now in comparison.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You might get away with it all that.
Somewhere where people aren't necessarily paying attention to every move that you make. I mean, we're dealing with but I'm in the Orlando area, and I mean, we're all familiar with our wonderful sheriff here, Jerry Demings. I mean,
Jesus.
I live here. This is a guy who wants to incorporate drones into the local sheriff's department. This is, and no one bats an eye. The Orlando Sentinel doesn't even pick up on this story. You know what, I would call it crazy, but it's not. It's actually become par for the course.
Well, we got a lot of authoritarian psychopaths that are sheriffs right now. A lot of them, a lot of areas.
We just need to start issuing drone hunting licenses.
Yeah, right now. I still got the one. We made the one.
We should like run like a contest or something, a promotion. Like, you shoot down a drone, you win something.
No bag limit.
Honestly, I'd help them pay for bail. I guarantee you that. No, go ahead.
I don't like the idea of a license because I have to ask permission to be able to shoot down something.
How about a trophy then?
To me
How about a drone trophy?
A drone trophy. That's what we'll do. We'll have a
first one shot down in Florida gets a trophy.
Cool.
The golden drone.
I can put that on my mantle.
Yeah, it's a good time. The first one in the state gets a gold trophy, man. I'd put it on that for sure.
Well, they took down the drone in L.A. Did you see that?
No,
during the
Yes,
Stanley Cup
did.
the Stanley Cup celebration.
I did see that one.
They're like, the LAPD had a drone going to monitor the celebration down there, and a bunch of the fans ripped it down and started just saying "fuck the police," and they ripped the drones out of the sky.
Yeah,
they like to riot for they like to riot for those events over there, man.
Yeah.
Somebody wins something, we got to tear down a city. I never did understand that part either. Why you got to celebrate by tearing your city down when you win? Like, why would you do this? Like, you're just gonna get,
Or if you lose, then you burn down your own city. Too.
That's why
I understand the losing one better.
That's why I hate sports now, though.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why don't you people get this motivated about the fact that you're getting fucked in the ass by your government every day?
Exactly. By the way,
That's because they don't like
What makes
soccer.
even funnier.
Because soccer players go
What
crazy.
makes even funnier to me is like they're tearing down the infrastructure that they're paying a 12% California income state tax on.
No.
yeah.
So, they're literally tearing down the shit they paid for. That's not a good riot.
Yeah. Yeah, you should go tear down the other person's
Yeah,
city.
yeah. You go over to Arizona.
Yeah, go beat up or go down to Southern California or something, or I don't care where you go, to be honest with you, but I ain't gonna go.
Not my neighborhood.
Yeah, just don't do it in my neighborhood. I'll
Stay
shoot
from
you.
my neighborhood.
I'll just shoot you. That's why you need more people with guns, so people don't, look, man. Armed society is a polite society. That's just the way it is. And again, these are two cliches, and they're cliches, and I will agree to that. But they are the best cliches ever. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and you can't have a cop on your back every day. You got to be able to carry yourself. Or have somebody here's the thing, the threat of it alone is enough to deter most of this violence. And if it does happen, then the number of people that die is less than it is the other way. These are facts. These are not up for debate. This is the way it is. And I wish these gun people would understand that crap, or the anti-gun people would understand that crap.
Well, guess who's on those gun banners' sides? ISIS. They are instituting a gun ban in all of the areas of Iraq that they control.
Yeah. That's a good segue, by the way. I gotta
Yeah,
do
that's a good segue right into that.
Didn't see that coming.
I often liken it to someone who has a home security system out, like a sign out in front of their yard, as opposed to someone who has a beware of dog sign. Now, granted, the alarm system is saying that, if you kick down this door, an alarm is going to go off, and I guess if you have the right setup, it's going to call the police or whatever. A beware of dog sign immediately says, if you go through this threshold, you're going to have a problem, or at least the threat of a problem. In my neighborhood over the past 3 years, we've had 5 or 6 break-ins. Every single one of those homes had a security sign. Not a single one of them had a beware of dog sign. And I look at the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms exactly the same way.
Yeah. Again, some people don't like dogs. I'm not really a dog person per se. It's not that I hate dogs or wish ill will upon them. I just don't want them living with me, and most of the time not near me. But but like I'm not trying to hurt them or anything like that. They do their thing, I do my thing, and everything works out, man. Not my thing. And I knock on a lot of doors, and a lot of people don't agree with me because there's a whole lot of people out there with dogs. A ton of people with dogs, and good for the dogs. They find people that they like, and that works out well. But not my thing. I'd rather have a gun. To be honest, you don't have to feed a gun, except for you feed them bullets, and it doesn't cost that much.
We only call
Look,
911
here's the
for
thing,
ambulances and fire trucks.
Yes.
You have a dog to latch on to the intruder, and then you have a target that's a little more stationary. You've got to think about this in a tactical manner.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm gonna have to take the risk though. I just gotta be a better shot then, because I don't want to have to deal with the dog though. Maybe if I didn't live like in city limits, like if I lived a place where I could let the dog kind of like run and go do its own thing, then I might feel better about the dog. But not where I live now, because I don't want the dog in a house.
Yeah,
I want maybe in an area that's like semi-enclosed, but not like in the living room.
and
I don't like the pet smell in the living room.
Yeah, if no one ever breaks into your house, then your couch is still torn up and you're stepping in pee puddles all the time.
Yeah, which I'd rather not have to deal with that all the time and maybe have to replace the couch. But look, we'll put a fence all around the yard. Well, I better not put it too high, though, because the feds probably think I'm prepping too much. Buy my food at different stores. It's amazing that the act of prepping is going to have to go underground, like you said earlier. But it's sad that it has to go underground, because everybody should at least be prepared for a little bit. You live in a state that requires it, by the way, Guy. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. We live in Florida. I mean, holy shit, we could have a terrible storm. Literally, within days' notice. It doesn't hurt to have clean water or food or a little bit of extra fuel to get the hell out. I mean, that's something that every Floridian should know.
Yeah. If anything, the other thing is this. Look, you've seen what's happened in this state when hurricanes happen, right? Like, you've seen the lines start the next day. Do you really want to add more people to the line? Wouldn't you think it's a better idea to promote not being added to the line and to be self-sufficient for the first 3 days? I lived down in West Palm when the one hit in West Palm, and literally, the next day, people are in line. Now, we weren't in line because we had at least 3 days worth of food. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. We met our
Right.
neighbors because we had to grill it all because we didn't have enough ice. Things weren't going to stay cold forever. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know the biggest line I ever saw
What's that?
for this? When the hurricanes came through, remember those 3 straight?
Yeah.
So I was running a McDonald's at the time, and it was a store on 56 and Fowler, which is the busiest store in the region already, right down there, USF. And the hurricanes came, no power anywhere for miles except for that little block and that little McDonald's. And lines for 48 straight hours out the door, and all we sold was chicken nuggets and chicken strips for days.
How did you have all that food? Did you run out at some point, or were they refueling?
Well, the distribution center is about 4.5 miles down the street, so we had them running semis down to the down to the McDonald's and just kept on loading them into the freezer.
But everybody paid for it, right?
Everybody paid.
And everybody got fed, right?
Yep.
What a free market solution to a problem that government thinks they're the only one that can handle.
In a McDonald's.
And a McDonald's, Mickey D's. Even though, it is what it is, but again, the local restaurants, that could have been any kind of restaurant. Well, the distribution channel wouldn't have been the same, but
But even the Publix on the other side had no power.
Oh, it sucks.
Nothing had power except for that little square.
yeah. Greg,
Well,
Government's-
therein lies the beauty of McDonald's. Gentlemen, I got to get going, but it was wonderful talking to you tonight. Hopefully we can do this again very soon.
absolutely, dude, man, it was nice hearing from you, brother.
Absolutely. It will not be the last time, I promise. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, man, see you. You don't know Tim. I have to introduce you guys to Tim. You don't know Tim, probably. That's all right, though. Tim's a good guy. Works in Orlando. Does involved in the radio business in a big way.
Nice.
Does good programming too.
So segueing.
Oh, segueing over into our foreign policy, freaking bonkers. We got enough time to go down this thing a little bit, I guess, but we'll have to flush it out even on the back end, I think. Greg, why don't you start us off on the foreign policy bit, man? What's going on right now, man? Just lay it out for you the way you see it, man.
Our foreign policy right now, just as fucked up as it's ever been, I think. About as bad as it can get. We turned Iraq into a complete mess. No one has any idea what to do. They are so confused that they are actually looking to buddy up with Iran.
Weren't we just like anti-Iran just recently? There was during the election, everyone was saying Iran's going to like blow up the world if they get a nuke and all.
Who knows what these guys? Who knows what they really think?
Just being sarcastic, but
They have no idea
Have
what they're.
always been at war with Eurasia.
Yes, that's a good point. We have never stopped being at war with Eurasia. At some point, we have always been at war with someone in that area, and I don't see it stopping now. This is going to get really bad.
really, really bad.
Well, in my opinion, while I'm not happy with what they've done, the fact that this one will be the most transparent of the mistakes that they made is something that I do revel in. And the fact that we're at the end time, not the end time, but we're at the, we're getting to, how you got to have things go full circle when everybody's around and listening in order for people to understand the damn circle? We've officially done that. And the ISIS guys is the proof. They're the smoking damn gun. Because we trained them in Syria to fight al-Assad or whatever, the guy that's in charge now, Bashar al-Assad or whatever. We trained him. There's the proof's there.
And we
it's
give him
already
weapons.
there. We trained him. We gave him weapons.
I've seen the photographs.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
I've talked to guys that come back talking about it.
McCain went there like his little neocon ass did and took pictures with the cats. This is better proof than Rambo.
Yeah, really.
Which was good proof, by the mind you. These guys did this. Our government, not the military, not our troops. So I'm not blaming the troops. I'm blaming people in the government trained or passed orders to train the guys that are now going into Iraq and taking cities left and right. And Iran is going to assist. Oh, by the way, and funded by the Saudis, by the way, also. Let's not forget that part of it, that the Saudis are involved with ISIS, because ISIS doesn't like what's going on with Iran. It's a religious thing that's been going on for hundreds of years that we can't do anything about, by the way. But yet we're Saudi Arabia's dummy most of the damn time. But that's even besides the point right now, because these guys are coming down. And then what is the reaction of the Iraqi troops? Oh, crap, they're coming. Drop the weapons.
And run.
And run. So what these guys are doing is they're coming down, getting resupplied, and not having to shoot any ammo to begin with. No wonder why they're taking cities left and right. Everybody's quitting. They can't take the north where the Kurds are because the Kurds guarding their own shit, and they don't want any. They don't want any part of it. So they're actually fighting back. We get all the way to Iraq is where, or all the way to Baghdad is where these guys are going, and they're getting close. There was always going to be a power vacuum in there, no matter what. This is why the neocon foreign policy won't work, just like the socialist policy doesn't work domestically. Because at the end of the day, these people are going to take care of themselves, and if they're not able to do that, then tough shit. There's going to be something that goes on if they're like, well, the option would be to keep Saddam Hussein in power. No, the option would be not to make him... Look, he wasn't always against us. You guys installed him. Rumsfeld's taking pictures with him, friggin' shaking his hand. That doesn't look like somebody that you didn't like. It looks like somebody you turned on, assholes. So before you go, well, Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, I'll go with that. Maybe you should have stopped funding him in the 80s, you dicks.
Well, I have two questions.
My bad.
Sorry, no, it's okay. I have two questions. Is Iraq more stable now than it was in 2002 with Saddam Hussein in power?
No.
Is the unstable state of Iraq today more dangerous to the Iraqi people and the American people than the state of Iraq was when Saddam Hussein was in power?
The answer is no.
It is not more dangerous.
Oh, no. It is more dangerous. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
So we have created a situation that is worse than what we started.
Because we saw something bad. Again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one even. I'll say you saw a problem. This guy was a dictator. He was doing bad things. He's an evil... I'll give Saddam Hussein being an evil SOB. But you thought you could fix it, and you couldn't.
Let's face the reality here.
Yeah.
They were using the gassing of the Kurds as the example of what a bad guy he was.
Yeah, we gave him
He did
the
that
gas.
10 fucking years before we went in to hold him accountable for that. Let's
And we gave him the gas.
Yeah, we sold him the gas, and we did not care that he used it when he did it, but it became a damn fine excuse when he started fucking with the flow of oil.
Yeah.
The reality is he was messing with the flow of oil out of Iraq, the number 2 oil producing country in the entire planet.
Yeah.
And we installed him because he said he was going to play ball and give us the oil at a good price.
Yeah, and we'll give you weapons.
And he started messing with the flow of oil coming out of Iraq, and that's when we decided to hold him accountable for all the bad shit that we told him to do. And sold him the weapons to be able to pull off.
Yeah. So the argument of well, your option was Saddam Hussein is null and void anyway. And here's the shittier part of the whole thing. After the first Persian Gulf War, we had told the people of Iraq that if you rise up, that we'll help you.
And we didn't. We left them hanging and we let them get massacred.
And they got
relaxed.
massacred. They got massacred. Again.
Hey, they're giving us oil cheap.
But again, this has nothing to do with any troop decision whatsoever. No. So I'm not blaming the troops. I'm blaming the people in the government that made these stupid decisions. And there's a few of them. They call them neocons. Well, at the end of the day, that's what they call them.
The big question is, here we have the situation. It's happening right now. What do you do right now?
Back off and hope for the best.
Do you send troops in right now?
No. As a matter of fact, I'd have them leave the embassy and everything else. And they're not going to do this, of course. But they're because they're going to intervene. They're going to protect the embassy because they spent $6 billion on it. So they're going to protect the embassy with 200 troops. And to be honest with you, they could get overrun. I don't think that's going to happen. And if they do get overrun, then we're back in there with full strength, and we're going to start doing some damage in there. And maybe that's what they're hoping for. And I don't know either way, but we should get the hell out of there as quickly as possible.
Is it or is it not our mess to clean up?
Nope. Well, no. Here's the thing. There is not a possibility that we can clean it up.
Even if it is our mess.
Here's the thing, man. We can't clean it up, man. The best thing we can do to clean it up is to clean ourselves out of it. And then, honestly, it's the power vacuum, and what happens, happens. You're hoping for a democracy at the end of the day. It's probably going to get split into 3 states if that's ended up what happening. But that's just the way it's going to have to be. And you know what? Sorry. Shouldn't have messed with it to begin with. But it's not... We can't fix it because we're not them. It's like you trying to fix Texas. Let's say Texas was a problem, right? I'm not saying they are.
They are.
I'm not saying they are. Or California. Let's go California, right?
They're definitely a problem.
California's definitely a problem.
And there's no fixing them.
But you can't go over to you, and you would never expect yourself to go to California, right? To go fix California, right? Because how they run their business is their business, right? Mm-hmm. What's the difference between that and Iraq? I mean,
It's because we've had our nose in there from the beginning.
you're right, but
It goes back to before the League of Nations.
it goes back to 53. You can go back to 53
It
in
goes
Iran.
before then. I
I'm
mean,
saying-
it goes before. It's
it's
the
a
League
whole-
of Nations did this.
Yeah, no.
The borders of the Middle East were created by the League of Nations, by the United States and Great Britain.
Yeah.
The fucking people that live there had no say in what their borders were going to be. They never recognized these nations. They never recognized these borders. We're never going to convince them that they should.
Yeah.
They're going to fight over them and want their own territory and come up with their own politics and their own borders eventually.
and let them have it. We get the hell out.
I think we should send people.
Oh, I don't. I don't.
You think we
I
should?
really don't.
I think
I know what Alex wants.
I think we should send people for 3 weeks to help any American citizens, any American people that are there to get to the embassy and get the big B-52s that they can load all those people onto and leave.
Oh, I got you. So you're going like for a rescue mission. I would have
So
supported a rescue
I think,
mission.
I think
I-
they're all gonna. I think that any American in there right now is probably gonna die if they get caught.
I do think that we need to send people in. I think there is a crack unit that needs to be organized and sent in, led
AT.
by John McCain, along with him going out, all the warmongers that are calling for this war and
John
beating
Bolton,
the
Lindsey
drums.
Graham,
You know,
Marco
they
Rubio.
they can all lead this front line. You know, Sarah Palin, Lindsey Graham,
Yeah.
you know, Ann Coulter. That bitch could get right to the front of the fucking line. You know, all these
Anyone that
people
wants
that
to
are
go
calling
fight
for this
should go
war and
first.
want to go, yeah, you people want this fucking war, go fight it.
Send your kids
Bill
first.
Crystal, Stephen A.
Yeah.
If you're willing to go to war, your kids are your kids on the front line. Would you send your kids to go fight this? Is it that important? Probably not. No.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I just, you know what? I honestly, I can't believe the gall. Look, I have respect for George Bush. You want to know why?
Which one?
The second one. You want to know why? Because that guy is not public with anything right now. After the presidency, he shut up. And all he does is do the best he can to help troops. I don't like him. I mean, he was wrong in what he did. He was stupid. It was bad. He was a bad president. However, at least he is, in his own mind, in his way, at least in my opinion, he's paying for it. Because he realizes that getting into those wars was a bad idea. And he's doing the best he can. And he stays out of all the politics of it now, at least publicly. And I think privately, too. What really pisses me off is scumbags like Cheney.
Yeah.
Who can't get
who
it up.
stays in life.
Yeah. And Bolton. You know, and
God.
Rumsfeld. The guys that were really running the show when Bush was there, because Bush was still a little bit of a puppet master, Cheney was there, Darth Vader ass.
And it pisses me off that they all want to blame Obama now.
Yeah.
There's plenty to blame on Obama. He's got his fucking record to deal with, but Iraq is not his fucking problem. As a matter of fact, he followed you guys' timeline.
Yeah.
He took your plan and ran with it, fuckheads.
Well-
it is your fault.
Well, not only that, though, the part that they don't talk about, and again, this isn't to defend Obama, because I think his decision was wrong anyway, but he wanted to keep the troops there. And the Iraqi government was the one that said, no, we want you guys out. Like, the Iraqis made this call on their own. You can't blame Obama for that unless your neocon plan was to keep those people there in perpetuity, which it was. So at any time, because you knew this would happen.
We don't care what you say. We're keeping our troops there.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why they're pissed, because they got out of office and now Obama's following their timeline, which they were going to try and find a way to change and extend and
Yeah.
carry on forever.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Assholes.
What do you do with a $6 billion embassy? You know.
Don't build it. Again, it's
I personally, I don't think it's an embassy. I think
well, that's
that
a
there's-
damn base. Yeah.
It is. It's a base and it's a listening station for. They have all the cell phone stuff, NSA stuff in there, and
Shouldn't an embassy in a hostile nation be a base, though?
Well, you shouldn't have a.
You would think.
Well, I wouldn't put an embassy in a hostile.
oh, yeah,
country.
you just don't open an embassy.
There's
That-
not
You
a
ain't going
country that
anywhere.
we're going to be in long that ain't going to end up hostile. Haven't you learned? Our
an
government
embassy-
pisses other people off too, not just us.
But if the only thing here's the thing, though, I'm not against embassies though, and if the only thing you had was an embassy, and we weren't having this foreign policy that we were having, then I think that
the foreign policy is the problem.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna, that's what I'm saying. We're going to piss them off eventually.
well, we got to stop doing that. Don't put them out there for now, man. Wait till we get some But the thing is this, and what pisses me off is that we're labeled the crazy ones. We're labeled the isolationists. You know what I mean? When in all actuality, forcing others to do your bidding is isolation. You know what I mean? Trading with other people, now that's free market. That's trading with, that's being a part of the world, I guess you could say, if you really wanted to call it that. I mean, I'm no, here's the thing. I'm no pro one world government at all. I'm very anti that. But at the same time, I'm very open to our country trading with other countries. You know, and being free to do that shit. You know what I mean?
I love when someone who believes that no one should be allowed to go to Cuba calls me an isolationist.
Yeah.
Fuck you, buddy. Don't you
The
even
CIA
understand?
the CIA goes to Cuba.
Wake up and smell what you're shoveling, folks.
You know.
Well, now we have a situation that I mean, we're Iraq is lost at this point. 200 troops is not going to do anything against thousands of people. What do you do?
It depends on what they're trying to do. I mean, look, if all they're doing is guarding that embassy, a couple hundred troops
I think they're
would
just
work well.
They're there to smash that embassy. Any records, and they're just not.
They're going to clean it.
Yeah,
definitely.
they're
In case it gets overrun, they're going to clean it.
That's what.
If that happens, but I think that the likelihood of that would actually be kind of remote, considering there's no way they want to repeat a 79. And this would be a bloodbath. I mean, we'd lose hundreds of guys quick, and Obama would be not that he's not toast already, because he is, but like he'd really be in trouble then. I mean, it would be, you might get out. I really hope it doesn't happen either, because that will actually change. We've finally got people understanding why this foreign policy is bad. I don't want to lose that, and we're about to. Especially because Cheney and them are getting. I mean, these guys got balls all day long. How dare you come on TV and talk right now? You traitor. Like I'm amazed that this guy's got the balls to write op-eds. Like, you're going to write an op-ed, dude? You ought to be writing a letter from jail on how things are going in the Third Ward.
You should be too busy writing apology letters to parents of dead soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Look what Bush does. Why don't you start doing that a little bit and stop, hey, this is the time you should follow his lead.
Well, the difference is, the limelight, and some want it. Bush never did.
And the part about Rand, by the way.
Let's move on to Rand.
Well, I wanted to mention this. It's his silence right now that's pissing me off.
Well, we got 2 minutes to break. Let's give him plenty of time.
All right.
Let's give him plenty of time.
Yeah.
And
people ain't going to like what I'm about to say here, but I'm about to prove a point, damn it.
Yeah, see, because he's like the new wave of neocons. Let's leave it with Cheney and the old neocons. Isn't it about time for them to just sit back and relax on all the fucking money they made on this war? Can they shut up now and let the rest of us try and fix the mess they created for us? It's ridiculous.
Here's the thing.
What are we going to do for
Rand? With Rand, I would give. Here's the thing. I'm going to go down Rand's road right now, and I'm going to give him a pass. Like, I'm going to give him a pass, but I'm going to say it another way. We'll get to it. You'll understand what I'm saying here in a second. Let's see here. What do you want to go with here? Are you at the Adrian Wiley page? Because that's the one we're going to use.
I'm working.
Now we could do part 2 of the 4-part series.
Yeah, I think that's what.
I think people heard part 1. Did we do part 1 last week?
We did part 1 last week.
So like all 5 people got to hear part 1. Let's make part 2 then. If you want to go back to part 1, then you can hear it. But we're going to put you in part 2 right off the bat.
Okay,
Let's
part
call
2.
Let's call that.
FEMA tells you to prepare. FBI labels you a terrorist.
How many minutes is this?
Washington, D.C.
8:30.
Trying to fight this, trying to protect your civil liberties. And he and Senator McCain actually got into a little bit of a discussion where Senator Paul was actually able to ask this specific question. And I'll read the question to you. My question would be, and this is Senator Paul, my question would be, under the provisions, would it be possible that an American citizen would be declared an enemy combatant and sent to Guantanamo Bay and detained indefinitely? This is Senator McCain's answer. I think that as long as that individual, no matter who they are, if they pose a threat to the security of the United States of America, should not be allowed to continue the threat.
And folks, remember, according to the FBI, paying with cash is potentially a threat.
Well, paying with cash can get you on the list of being what they would consider to be a terrorist.
Yeah, but think about that. You pay with cash, you protect your identity, you buy some storable food, buy a flashlight.
So
next thing you know, you're a terrorist.
Let me give you a scenario here. You're, Joe Blow average citizen, right? you're kind of mad with what the government's doing right now. You want to see Obama get, removed from office. And so, but you also see the danger that's coming. So you start buying food. You start looking, you buy a couple, a year's worth of food, let's say. You go out and do that. You want to make sure that you and your family are protected, so you go out and you buy some firearms. Now, you buy a pistol, you buy an assault rifle, non-automatic, one that's legal. You go through the legal channels, you buy a shotgun, you buy a couple other items. So you went and did that. Then you wanted to make sure that you had waterproof and that you went to the Army Navy store, bought a bunch of supplies and stuff like this. Then you started to take away your 401k and you started investing it in gold and silver. And you started storing that gold and silver on your premises. You also paid for everything in cash. You didn't want to have a transaction anymore. You've just matched about 5 or 6 different categories of being a terrorist. Now, in addition to that, you go online and you put things out there where you're talking about how we need a change in government and, we need to have a revolution. Not a good word. I mean, once again, a very benign word, but you can use it however you want. I mean, revolution, what that means is really more to the person than it is to anybody else. Now that you've done all these things, you've now made it on a watch list. So now they can come by without going to a judge first, can pick you up and send you to Guantanamo Bay. And you'll never see a jury. You'll never be tried for anything.
You won't even be formally charged.
Yeah, you won't even be formally charged with anything. That's what they are going to pass in Washington, D.C. I want you to understand that's what they're going to pass. Whatever their reasons for it is inconsequential to the law that they're going to pass. Just like with many other laws, where they'll say, well, this is what it does, and this is what it does, and this is what it does. What they say it does and what is written in the law is 2 different things. Now, the guy that in the Senate, we have 2, elected senators here. One of the elected senators, not the non-Democrat, we'll leave it at that, has sent a letter in basically saying that we're lying, that we're not telling you the truth. That Rand Paul, that Judge Napolitano, that anybody else, Justin Amash, who was over on the House side who voted against this thing at the time, that all of us are lying to you, that this is not what it does. Who are you going to believe at this point? I mean, really, are you going to believe a lying, criminal, treasonous, bad person? Or are you going to believe guys like Rand Paul, guys like Justin Amash, guys like Judge Andrew Napolitano, who have been warning you about this for months? McCain, I'm going to make this comment, and this is really going to anger some people. We always view every election as the lesser of 2 evils. Is it possible that Obama was the lesser of the 2 evils? Because if you want my opinion on it, I think that McCain would have done everything that Obama is doing when it comes to foreign policy, would have done everything that Obama is doing when it comes to healthcare, would have done everything that Obama is doing when it comes to continuing to encroach on the lives of the citizens. But here's the thing. McCain wants to step up the game and go ahead and actually, what's the word for it? Take the Bill of Rights, take the Constitution, and just to burn them. And that's what he wants to do.
Ironically, I can't believe I'm in the position of supporting President Obama, but to his credit, he has threatened to veto this bill. Now, whether he actually does it or not is another thing, but it brings up an excellent point in this regard, at least. Though both McCain and Obama are evil as far as I'm concerned, in this particular case, Obama may be the lesser of 2 evils if he vetoes this bill.
Well, before we go and say that, Obama's lawyers have come out now and said that citizens targeted if at war with the U.S. is okay, whether it be domestically or internationally. That Obama's lawyers said U.S. citizens are legitimate military targets when they take up arms with al-Qaeda, top national security lawyers in the Obama administration say Thursday. Now, that's it. That one's kind of benign when they take up arms with al-Qaeda. Replace that with if they take up arms with terrorists. Now, let's go back now to what we said. You wanted to prepare. You wanted to protect your family, so you started buying firearms. At that point, you are taking up arms. With all the other things that
you're right.
With everything else, now you've taken up arms and You have all these other strikes against you, and you're going against the government. So these three things, you're a terrorist. Folks, this is not about Al-Qaeda. This is not about the Taliban. This is about the government imposing laws that are going to make it possible for them to arrest anybody in this country at any time without any jury trial and sending them to Guantanamo Bay or wherever they want to send them. The other thing that they don't talk about in there is they can send you to another country, not just America.
It's about control. It always has been.
Well, you're absolutely right. It has always been about control. This is some of the final nails in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. They are forcing our hand. We have always called for a peaceful revolution. We want it to be done via the ballot box. Votes like this are making it impossible.
Well, the one thing I will say is that everyone in the Senate who voted for this bill and everyone in the House who voted for it back in May have committed treason as far as I'm concerned. They have violated their oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And there's no clearer violation than this. Allowing the military to detain American citizens indefinitely with zero due process, that is an act of war on the American people.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no other way to describe it. They're using the military. If this bill goes through, they will be using the United States military against the citizens of the United States of America.
Prisoners of war in our own country.
Yeah, that's essentially what we become.
You better take a stand on this now. Those that take a stand with us, regardless of party affiliation, more power to you. God bless. Those that don't consider us friends, don't consider us allies. You are an enemy to the Constitution, just like scumbag Rubio, just like Nelson, Bilirakis, Young, every other crap politician that voted for this. It is time to take a stand, and you better be on the right side on this one.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Wow. Very prophetic. I got to tell you. You know?
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was that 4-part series was the best. That was the best we've ever done. I really think that was like the best 4-part series that we ever did. There's some other good stuff on that channel too, by the way, because you got the sheriff confirming the Real ID driver's license photos, explaining Real ID and facial recognition, that little star, what it means. I mean, we really did some good stuff on the Real ID stuff, man. I just, again, we're just telling you what they said. We're just showing you their stuff. This is what they wrote. You can go wild, crazy conspiracy and say it if you want to, but you're just lying to yourself because we're just telling you what the hell they wrote. Not, again, don't shoot the messenger, man. Do the research for yourself if you think I'm lying. Go find those documents. You read them and you tell me what they say. You wait to get to part 4 there when they talk about the actual camps that they got set up. Not set up, but they got the ROIs for. Part 4 is crazy because it talks about the... Look, there is an ROI, what do they call that when the government puts out a work request or something like that? Anyway, we'll call it a work request. The government puts out a work request asking private contractors to be able to provide some kind of supply or service, right? Well, in part 4, they talk about one specific supply or service that they put out a request for. And the request is for camps. Now, they ain't calling them FEMA camps. They call them camps. But you look at the outline and the design. Don't get me wrong. A lot of that stuff is how you would normally make some kind of a evacuation area. But they also got barbed wire fences. What the hell you need a barbed wire fence for? Facing in, which means you don't want people getting out. Not facing out so people can't get in. They're facing the wrong way. And they're written in the request that way. They're specific assholes. So, at any rate. Don't believe me, though, because, everything's fine. Now, the Rand Paul part.
Hey, before we get to Rand
Yeah,
Paul.
go ahead.
Just for people that are just tuning in that missed the whole first part,
You got to go back and listen to that.
go back and listen to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I would tell them, because
Go back and
next
listen
part
to it.
won't make sense.
No, that's true.
You got to hear the first part and understand even how we got here,
That's true.
This
And,
shows...
and that's an hour to catch up on, so we just
But
got
you
to
get it
go.
later. No, it ain't like we won't have it available for the public.
It'll be on YouTube.
It'll be on the YouTubes. All right. At any rate, now the Rand part. Look, you have a large coordinated neocon uprising going on right now in this country. A very large one. It's happening all over the place. Some of it's getting challenged, some of it ain't. But the thing is this. There's not the non-interventionist uprising that should be countering this neocon uprising. Now, if you're going to give me this Rand Paul 2016 crap, then Rand Paul should be taking a stand right now, talking about how all the stuff we just said in the last damn hour, in the little bit of time, not the whole hour, but half of it, when it came to what's going on in Iraq, Rand Paul should be out there saying it because that's what's going on. Now you're going to go, well, he's playing the game. The other side's not playing the same game you are, dicks. They're out there. Dick Cheney's running off at the mouth, and he might get us in another damn war. Is that what you want? Why don't you show a little leadership here? Again, your dad would have done that. Your dad's doing it now. But he's not running for president in 2016. You are. So you need to be carrying your ass out there. If you want to, if you want to earn votes from people like me, you better be out there doing it. Because if you're not, then you're no better than Dick Cheney then. You're keeping your mouth shut at a time frame where we need you. Look, you get all the media attention. You want to hold the libertarian mantle or whatever, even though you're claiming that you're not, but you're totally working towards that goal. Then now's the time you got to step up and show your creds. You got to show up. You got to show your sleeve today, son. And you're right. I'm calling you son, and you're older than me. I don't care, you ophthalmologist. You want to get in there, get in the damn game. Where the hell are you? You better be out there, front of the line, calling these neocons out like your dad did. Again, there's a reason people liked your dad, and you can say, well, that's not going to win you the presidency. Bullshit. That's exactly what will win you the presidency right now, because that's exactly what the nation is looking for. You want to bring Democrats over? Then don't fall in line with Cheney. Show them why you're different. And right now is about that freaking time, because if your voice ain't out there, then your silence is your consent. Act accordingly, son. And for all the Rand people, don't give me any shit if he doesn't do that, and I tell you that I'm going back for Johnson. And I ain't going to walk one door for Rand Paul. Not one. And you know what? I'm not alone. There's a lot of people that will walk a door for Ron that won't walk a door for his son. And it's times like this and his inability to grow a damn spine that caused me a problem. And you can say, oh, he's playing the game and you guys are just being this. Hey, we got American lives on the line, guys. It's not time to play a game. It's time to make sure we don't have any troops coming over there. Not one we should be committing over there. I know Becky freaking stole that shit now, but that's the damn truth, though.
Yeah, when did Glenn Beck get on that?
Yeah. What are you guys looking at, by the way?
We just watched a video of 2 Texas cops shooting a handcuffed prisoner.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Well, I didn't see that, but I saw the video itself. I didn't watch it yet, though.
We just watched the video, and they totally just shot this dude that they had handcuffed. He was struggling, but he was in handcuffs, and there were 2 of them and 1 of him. And
they just shot
one of them.
He wasn't struggling before.
No. They were dragging him along the ground, and he started struggling as they were dragging him. And
he looks dead.
Well, the one backed up and shot him, and now they're like rolling him around. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Please be okay.
I don't want to lose my job or go to jail.
Oh my God. He totally just executed this guy while he was in handcuffs.
Oh
Yeah, and we're supposed to trust him.
Trust the police.
You can't trust anybody right now. Look, there's some good cops out there. That's the problem. They got to get rid of it. Like anybody that look, there ought to be a
the other 95% give them a bad name. Then.
Well, here's the thing: what they ought to start instituting in the police force is something called a zero tolerance policy, and that is one incident and you're off forever, nowhere. And you know what? I know that sounds harsh, and you're going to make a career out of that. Then you need to be that freaking scared.
Wear the fucking type.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, dude. Honestly, wear the thing. You got to wear. All cops should have to wear the video cameras.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, all of them have to wear it on their bodies. And the thing is this. Look, I understand that they're like, well, not all of us are bad. Well, you're right, but now all you got to be recorded. Because you know what? We've given you a power that we, in all reality, probably shouldn't be given to anybody anyway.
Yep.
We need to watch what you do independently from, and you shouldn't be able to control the video either. It should go to that should go like somewhere where you want to talk about going into safe room. That thing should go into safe room, so the cops can't erase it.
They'll lose it.
Yeah, the IRS erasing emails. You know?
Lose it. We lost those emails.
Oh, they lose it all the time. At least they're having to be more transparent now.
Well, unless you're the NSA, because then you're too big to comply.
Well, yeah, but we're all knowing about it.
You heard about this, right? The NSA told a federal court that its spying operations are too massive and technically complex to comply with in order to preserve evidence.
Assholes.
The NSA, in other words, now says that it cannot comply with the rules that apply to any other party before a court, the very rules that ensure legal accountability, because it is too big.
Assholes.
Didn't they just, like a few years ago, say that they weren't doing any spying? And now they're saying, well, we are, but we're just too big to give you all.
We're doing so much spying that we can't even save it.
We're doing so much that we can't even keep it organized.
Here's the quote from the NSA. Attempts to fully comply with the court's June 5th order would be a massive and uncertain endeavor because the NSA may have to shut down all databases and systems that contain Section 02 information in an effort to comply.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's buffoonery.
Shut it down. Shut it down now.
It's complete buffoonery.
Yeah, shut it all down.
Yes. Okay. Shut it down and comply. They want us to comply.
Listen, I'm too big, and my prepping operation is just too big for me to comply.
They will shoot you even once you're in handcuffs if you don't comply.
Apparently. Don't let anyone know you're prepping too bad. They'll start shooting you.
It's madness.
So Alex, here's my question, and I very much agree with you on Rand Paul.
Yeah.
Only because I really don't think he's libertarian because he's a Republican. What do you do if Rand Paul is the option in 2016? And you want me to preface that with my balancing act first?
Well, you're saying like if he makes it through the primary and makes it on the general ballot?
If he made it on the general ballot, you have Rand Paul, and I will preface it with agreeing with you on the Republican Democrat same coin different side idea, especially when it came to this last election. You had Obama Romney, both the same. It's going to happen.
But Rand Paul.
But now it's Rand Paul, and really the only Democrat that there is Hillary Clinton. So,
I mean, there's going to be more than that, and Hillary's not for sure. But I'll stipulate Hillary though. It really depends, to be honest with you, on where we're at. Again, now the thing is this. I don't want to say that it doesn't matter as much as I don't think that it matters that much on which one it is, to be honest with you. Not that Rand and Hillary are the same. I'm not going to say that because I think that they're definitely different people, and I think that Rand definitely has some good qualities. But as the president, depending on what happens all the way up and down the chain, you're just one guy. And I think that we put too much onus on that. So there's a lot of stuff we got to do. Like in 16, that's what's one race on a 15 race ballot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's 1 out of 15. It's going to get my attention of 1 out of 15. Now where I pull the trigger on at the end of the day, I would say that if he got to the thing, and it depends on who the LP put up too. I mean, not just any LP person would be a given necessarily. Sure. Like if it was him against Bob Barr, I'm picking Rand Paul over Bob Barr. Do you know what I mean? Now, we're not going to have a Rand Paul. We're probably going to have Gary Johnson. I don't know if I'd pick him over Gary Johnson, to be honest with you. I think it all depends on where we're at with stuff, though. Like, if Gary's made inroads and done good things, then it might be good. But if he's just running to run and whatever, and he's not, he doesn't have we're not getting serious money in the race and stuff like that, maybe at the end of the day, I pull the lever for Rand. I don't know. It's a tough call.
I'll still be voting for Gary Johnson. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll make it short and sweet.
Okay.
Well, and I respect that only because that's principle, and I can respect principle, and that's why I didn't vote for. Actually, I didn't vote for Johnson or for Romney in this last election, but I would have to say that in the last time you had like the Obama Romney deal, and it was kind of like, well, who cares? Because they're both exactly the same.
Yeah.
But if you had literally Hillary Clinton and Rand Paul, that's two very, very different type of administrations.
No, that's very true. It's very true. But we got to look at the presidency as a whole, though. Vice the rest. Look, I'm more worried about my city council and about my county commission and about my governor. Like I'm worried about those things. Presidency is not one that I have nearly as much worry with. And while they are different, I will grant you that Hillary Clinton and Rand Paul are very different. I think what's going to happen with Rand is what happened with Reagan. Now, when Reagan got in there, Reagan was, I'm going to close down the Department of Education, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And when Reagan was in charge, the size of the federal government doubled. And that even when Reagan was in charge, Iran-Contra happened under Reagan. You know, and this is the same guy who talked about a weird foreign policy that goes on, you know, because Beirut happened during that time. Like
National debt.
national debt went up. So like, I look at that as like, okay, it's better than Clinton, but like, you're still going down the same road. Like, he's not going to cut spending. That's one thing. I don't trust Rand Paul to actually cut spending. Maybe before, when he was putting out those budgets before, I would say yes. Now, not so much. Now he's been beaten down by the machine a little bit, man. He's too willing to play the game, and he's too willing to support guys that are anti-Second Amendment because he's supporting one team over the other team, which is what he did in Florida with David Jolly. Like, that Jolly vote means something, because that dude literally came down and made a robocall to help out David Jolly against Lucas Overby. When Lucas Overby was far and away much better than the other guy was. At the minimum, he should have just stayed out of it, but he didn't. He wanted to get in the middle of it. He wanted to get involved with a damn neocon, and he helped the neocon get elected into office. And an anti-Second Amendment one at that, because that guy just voted with Obama for a damn registration to up the money for the registration on the guns and stuff. Like, this guy already made bad votes, and he ain't been up there but a couple months. Like, you can't stay straight at all, ever. He voted for the NDAA stuff, and he said down here he wasn't going to vote for that stuff. He goes up there, he votes for it. Rand Paul helped get that guy elected into office. If anything, he put him over the top, took some votes away from Lucas, and got him over the top. So you know what? You took credit for that dude. Take responsibility for him.
And that's why I will be voting for Gary Johnson.
I mean,
it's like win or not, I don't care. And that's, you know what?
I'm more concerned about the other races. This is in all reality, though. Like, I would like to see us win a couple Congress seats locally, and some city council seats and some county commission seats. And in 2016, we should be able to do that kind of thing. And our focus should be on getting those people elected in office, and the presidency will take care of itself. To be honest with you, I think Rand Paul is going to beat Hillary Clinton. I don't think my help in the matter is not going to really matter, because Obama still got 2 more years to keep fucking shit up. And he's really going to do a good job. Look, there is one thing that the Obama administration is good at. I mean, and they are really, really good at this. They are good at fucking everything up. Make no mistake about this. They will. Rand Paul will be a shoo-in, because they're not going to trust Hillary Clinton after this, because she's just as bad as Obama. The Democrats are going to be so disenfranchised after the 14 ass whooping that they're about to receive, because they are going to receive one. Whether the Libertarians do it is inconsequential. They're going to get whipped up on, and they're not going to turn around in 16. They're going to lose their base between 14 and 16, and their base is going to either go independent or come over here or do something else. You're going to have the hardcore 20% in the Dems, but the rest of them are going to start bouncing ship, because I've seen the Dem operations that are going on around here, and they ain't exactly anything to be liking. Now, there may be some far left organizations that work out well, but they don't like the Dems either. So, I mean, you might even see the Green Party start making inroads.
Yeah.
You might see that. I mean, again, right now they're nothing to look at. I mean, we're much closer to the Dems, and the Libertarians are much closer to the Ds and the Rs than they are to the Greens. You know, those guys, there's agree or disagree.
Absolutely. But I think you're absolutely right. I think we're going to see growth in everything, because so many people are just wanting to get away from the Dems and the Republicans.
It's already happening now too. Like, since there's been 2010, there's been 700,000 or 500,000 people, they said, that are, newly registered to vote or whatever, right? 78% of those people did not register as a Democrat or a Republican. They registered as something else, either MPA, Libertarian, Independent. Dems are up a percentage point at best, and the Republicans are up, like, I don't know, like 1% or something like that. Like, but 78% of the new people are coming to either third parties or MPA, which I'm cool with either one, to be honest with you, as long as you leave out the Ds and the Rs. My perfect world would be 10% Dems, 10% Republicans, 10% Libertarians, 10% Greens, and 60% MPAs. So those 4 parties that would probably represent what I would consider to be the entire spectrum of political thought would be able to fight for certain jobs. And there'd be jobs that Greenies would win. There'd be jobs that Republicans would win. There'd be jobs that Democrats would win. There'd be jobs that Libertarians would win. And I think you'd have the most honest government that you could possibly have, because nobody could screw anybody else over. And by doing it that way, at least in my opinion, you'd actually get a very good representative republic. Not perfect. Wouldn't be a perfect libertarian society. It would be a good solid republic where different states could govern in different ways, and those states would be, doing their thing, and the federal government would be worried about national defense, and not really worried about, and have honest money, because we got to have honest money. If you have honest money in national defense, I don't really want the federal government doing anything else anyway, but I'll go with some stuff as long as it ain't corporatism. Again, you got to get rid of the 17th, though. Got to get rid of the 17th.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost like a gift, and there ain't no negotiating on that one. Like, there ain't no compromise on that. We get rid of the 17th. You got to sell it to the liberals as to why it's a good idea, though.
Well, it's going to be a tough sell. They're the ones that passed it.
I understand, but it wasn't those people that passed it, though. It was a lot of people generations before them that have not seen the error in their ways.
They still hold on to the ideology that got that passed, though.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the problem.
Well,
but you're absolutely right. Until we repeal the 17th, nothing can be fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest single breaking point of our government that we until we do that, we can't do anything else.
Yep. It would make everybody focus on their state government, though, and that's the thing that you should be doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the 17th does. By proxy, it makes you focus on your state government because that's who's picking them.
Well, that's actually, it's also what created the power vacuum that gave special interests and lobbyists that everybody now bitches about power.
Mm-hmm.
They have power because of the 17th Amendment. They had no power. It did not exist before it came along.
Yep. Very true. I mean, don't get me wrong, the special interest could influence the state house, but you got to go influence 50 of those.
Yeah.
That protects it somewhat.
Yeah. And it totally breaks our form of government. And really, all it does is make the Senate a redundancy of the House of Representatives, which makes it no point at all in having.
Yeah. I'm with you, brother. I'm down like 4 flat tires.
I mean, I actually argue against the 17th Amendment more than the 16th. Because it is the worst of our constitutional amendments.
It's a systemic problem, is what I look at it as. A very systemic problem. Like in this, it screws up with the system itself, the proper flow of things.
Yeah,
it's like drug laws. Same thing. You screw with the system.
Well, I mean, it completely breaks the form of government that we created.
Yeah.
I mean, by creating the 17th Amendment, you might as well just erase the rest of the Constitution. At least Article 2.
Yeah.
Because you've nullified all of its relevance.
Yeah. Man, Adrian put something out pretty good. I got to put that up tonight.
Oh, his statement?
Yeah. That was good.
It was?
I was a little nervous. So.
You were worried about it?
A little bit. It's a weird subject, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a good one, but it's also... We don't know who this... I don't remember this guy, or I don't know this guy or anything like that. So, at the end of the day, we don't know what he said to the FBI guy. But they didn't write that crap in the damn report, and if he really said it, they would have wrote it.
Right, that's all. We're just looking at the evidence that what the indictment.
Yeah, based off the evidence, man, he didn't say that stuff because you didn't write that down. But here's the thing: you didn't have enough proof that he said that in order for you to write it down. So you'll have to forgive me based off of the fact that I've watched you guys lie on Congress, on the floor of Congress. I don't necessarily believe you, FBI guys. You better have the proof because you've lost any credibility that you had at any point. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are a bunch of damn screw-ups anyway, though. And you've lied.
And apparently you're going to have to be really careful about who you talk to anyway. Because an attorney who is pushing a lawsuit, an attorney who is pursuing lawsuits against alleged domestic U.S. Spying, says he has a military employee who has admitted he was paid by the Army to attend private activist meetings in homes and spy on activists.
Oh, I can believe it.
The lawsuit is known as Panagakos versus Towery. It accuses the U.S. military of directing John Jacob Towery, who worked for the U.S. Army Force Protection Division at Fort Lewis, to infiltrate a group called the Port Militarization Resistance in Olympia and Tacoma, Washington. It also accuses the cities of Olympia and Tacoma of coordinating with the military to violate the First and Fourth Amendment rights of the activists. PMR organized demonstrations from 2006 to 2009 against the use of civilian ports in Puget Sound for Stryker vehicles and other military cargo being shipped over to Iraq and then shipped to Pakistan or Afghanistan, according to Larry Hildes, who's one of the National Lawyers Guild attorneys representing the activists. Nonviolent civil disobedience was a part of some of the demonstrations, and at one demonstration in May, police used pepper spray on demonstrators. So apparently...
Hey, what state did you say that was from again?
Washington.
Washington State? All right, hold on a second here, man. I want to try something here. Now, what did you say that the names of the groups were?
The Port Militarization Resistance.
Port Militarization Resistance, huh?
So these people are fighting against civilian.
What city was it?
In Olympia and Tacoma, Washington.
Wow, they're not on this list.
So
I went
this-
to the Southern Poverty Law Center to see if I could find them.
So the civilian ports are being used by the military to send out, military supplies and strike forces to Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And these people want to stop that. They're basically saying, look, you spend enough money on your own ports and all this. I mean, you got your own bases, you got all your own. So why you traffic in our ports with all this? And they want to stop them. And I don't see a problem with that. And apparently the government does.
Yeah, it's not good, man. It's definitely not good.
Can't trust anybody.
Yep.
Better just start prepping. Burying AR-15s in barrels in your backyard and buying up food.
Well, don't do that because then the FBI will come down here with helicopters and stuff and pay you a visit.
And don't post any signs because then they know what you're doing in there.
I'm one day from being on a roof with a rifle.
These guys are just trying their best to break everybody. They really are. You're not going to break me, though, coppers. You see? Yeah. Not breaking me.
Yeah, you'll never catch me alive.
You'll never catch
Flatfoot.
me alive. That's funny, by the way. That's very good. I hate you people. Not you, Greg. But no, I'm not talking about you guys in the room. Of course not. I'm talking about the bad guys. I hate them, though. I just really do. Like, you guys offend me. I hate being offended by you, but you offend me in a very serious way.
They just make me angry.
Like, you guys would seriously cause the desert to lose sand and go bankrupt out of sand if you owned a desert. And it wouldn't matter the size of the desert. Matter of fact, the bigger it is, the quicker you'd get rid of the sand. Assholes.
At least if it was the beach, they'd have to answer to somebody because it's so small that people would see it.
Maybe. I don't know, though. They might get rid of some of the water, too, though.
There you go.
And then blame some kind of man-made global warming for it. Meanwhile, the polar caps are the biggest they've ever been. And it's raining, or it's snowing in certain parts of the country right now, you assholes. I mean, don't get me wrong, the climate's changing all the damn time. I hear you there, but you're wrong about it. And maybe if you'd quit spraying the damn clouds, but we'll get into that another day. Making your own clouds, whatever you want to call it. But it's just, I can't believe they're doing this shit, though. The foreign policy, and these guys are all criminals, by the way. I mean, they've legalized the criminality. Like, did you know that you can do or commit insider trading as a congressperson, and it is not against the law?
Yeah.
You can take the information that you learn up there, make trades on it, and it is not against the law to do that.
Well, it was, and they make a law that said that it was going to be illegal, and then they overturned that law.
Yeah.
And
They made a law saying it wasn't going to be, that wasn't illegal.
But no, it was legal. Then they made a law that said this is going to be illegal after the big hellstorm that happened, back in like 2010 or something like that. And then like in secret, like 18 months ago or so, they were like, let's just get rid of that thing we passed a couple years ago to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
So it was illegal for about 9 months.
And these guys have called it a congressional entitlement because they don't make enough money.
Yeah.
That has been the legitimate argument from. Not legitimate. It's an illegitimate argument.
The argument was that
that's their argument, though.
That it was such like a big effect on the economy. They had to know about those things, and
Well, no. They wanted it because they knew they could make more money doing it that way, but they think they earned that perk because they got to make the laws that do it.
Education time, folks. The definition of tyranny: that which is illegal for you but legal for the people in power.
Yep. And again, you can say we're committing. What do you call that? The fear porn or fear? What do you call that, Greg? Come on,
fear porn.
Fear porn.
Yes.
But here's the thing: I'm not scared. I'm telling you what they did, but I'm not scared of it because we're going to be able to stop them. Hopefully, you wake up and hear it.
Speaking of tyranny and people who aren't scared, did you hear that
Yes, Prime
Adam
Minister.
Kokesh was convicted
of?
Oh, really?
Well, he kind of pleaded no contest, though.
Yeah, and he was convicted. He'll be getting sentenced September 15th or September 5th. Where he faces a maximum of 15 years in prison, because he had a shotgun in D.C. where the guys in power are allowed to have guns, but we can't.
Yeah, tyranny. I wonder what they are going to give him. You think he's going to get like time served and sent on your way?
I got a funny feeling they're going to throw the book at him and hit him as hard as they can, but we'll see.
You know, do you see? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know why I don't think so? Because let's see how I can say this. They don't want to make him a martyr. 15 would make you a martyr.
Everybody starts going to DC with shotguns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably be a group. There would definitely be a group go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would tell you this: if they gave the guy, look, I'm not all in on this. You know, I don't watch it intently with what he's doing and stuff like that, just because I got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on, and I just don't have time to commit to that. They throw that guy in the hole for 15, though. I may have to start paying attention.
I don't think they're scared of that.
Well,
ask Leonard Peltier.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though. The difference is they don't want everybody rising up all at the same time either, though. You know, they got to play a game. You know, they got a tightrope to walk too when it comes to this shit. They can't just wake everybody up all at once. You know.
Well, the thing is, they did a great job of painting him as some kind of lunatic in the mainstream media. So they're not creating a huge martyr in their eyes by doing that.
I got you. Yeah, no, you got a point there. I think that there's a lot of people that watch Adam, that listen to Adam, that respect the guy. That if they see that that this guy's going into the hole for this stuff, you know, what are you gonna do?
I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to march on Washington with guns like he was calling for?
At some point, it's going to happen.
I think he might be even playing into Kokesh's game here.
Yeah,
it's possible. Look, what he has put out years ahead of time, though, like a year ahead of time, like going next year. So if they really mess with this guy, then they're giving the people that watch Adam all the reason they need to form something up to go and do that. And you're giving everybody a great rally cry to do it with. Look, a lot of these organizations and stuff, the numbers are kind of waning a little bit because there's not really a whole lot of excitement or something serious. That's not serious, but like you just don't have the buzz, right? Well, I think this might create a little freaking something called buzz. You know, maybe. So, what else is going on? You guys got anything else you want to talk about, man?
You got a whole mess of bikers going to get that Marine out of Mexico.
Yeah, I hope they can do that, man. That's going to be funny to watch, by the way.
They all lined up there on the border.
I missed that. There's a Marine in Mexico?
Yeah, the Marine had a couple weapons on him in his car, made a wrong turn, and ended up going over the border into Mexico. The Mexicans picked him up because he has weapons that are unauthorized by the Mexican government. So he's been sitting in a jail cell, and we won't trade nobody for him, but we'll trade 5 people that cut people's heads off for a deserter.
So Obama will sell guns to Mexico. Obama can send guns into Mexico.
But you can't make a wrong turn with a gun in your car.
But you can't take guns into Mexico. And if you do, Obama will make deals to get you out of Taliban's hands. But he ain't going to make a deal to get you out of the Mexicans' hands.
That's racist, if you ask me.
I'm agreeing with you. We're going to get to that in a few minutes.
It's racial. Oh, yeah, that's funny, by the way.
That.
We'll get the Indians' perspective on that one.
Exactly.
Oh, the something about the Redskins.
Yeah, they lost their franchise, or not franchise, but they lost their trademark.
Yeah, they lost their trademark. Oh well.
I mean,
get rid of the government. Don't let them have the say to tell you whether or not you can use it.
Well, you know what? The thing is, they're still allowed to use it. Everybody can use it.
Yeah.
Right. Now they can have like all the...
Well, they don't make any money on the merchandising anymore, I guess.
Well, yeah, because
they can't stop people from doing the merchandising.
All the knockoffs will be coming in and...
Yeah.
Yeah, all the T-shirt companies don't have to do business with them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, they're going to stand to lose a lot of money. They're going to have to change their name now. Was the Redskin really an offensive name, by the way?
It was.
Do you really think that the Washington Redskins, did that offend you as an Indian?
Me personally, not particularly. I did kind of have a view that it's not really appropriate, but
it's not appropriate. Like it's not. What do you mean? It's not appropriate? And again, I'm not trying to be flippant with you, but I'm trying to understand it. I don't understand it
because I understand that the people who were doing it were trying to. It eventually became a term that was used kind of in a joking, jovial way, but it wasn't originally.
Well, don't you think that the Washington Redskins using the term Redskins actually kind of gave the name a better viewpoint than what it had before?
Possibly. That's why I say, to me, it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah, no, I got you. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever. But
I mean, it's like the Florida faggots. Same thing.
Yeah. To me, I mean, that's kind of the way I see it. Everyone would be in an uproar if somebody made a team that was the Florida Faggots. But nobody cares about the Washington Redskins because there's just not enough of them around. Even if they're all pissed, there's a few thousand. Who cares?
Yeah, well,
and that's why it's like it's not a big deal because they will kill us and throw us into a reservation, and they have broken. The American government has broken every promise they ever made with the Indians, except that they would take the land. That is the only promise they ever kept. They have treated them as savages and murdered them.
Yeah.
At least the black people got to be slaves. The Indians got slaughtered.
You look like you're cold. You look like you need a blanket.
Here's the thing.
Are you cold?
Here's the thing, though. What I don't understand is even after doing all that the Indians start rising up and complaining about the name. Like, obviously we didn't do enough of it. If you'd have learned how to use guns better, then maybe you'd have been all right. And learned a little thing called property rights.
Some people take my point that I just made as an even worse jab. You can use this name, and there's not enough of us to even say anything about it and even make an uproar because you fucking killed us all.
Yeah.
So now you can just use it and rub it in our face and say, that derogatory term we used to use for you 200 years ago, we're going to make it a football team now, and you can't do shit.
Not to mention that we're going to take
offense to that.
Oh, and next time we're in the Cleveland Indian guy, too.
There are people who are upset about that.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, at this point, I don't think anybody has the right to be offended about anything. And you want to name a team the Florida, whatever you called it, then go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're not going to say
No, I'm not going to say it, though. I don't. Here's the thing. It's gratuitous for me to say it because everybody already heard it. But you could do the same thing, though. But again, the term itself, the connotation on that term itself, while you will say that there is a time frame in the past in which it had that epithet to it, it no longer has that, though. And you could argue that part of the reason is because they've been the damn Washington Redskins, the football team, for a long time, and that's actually kind of mirrored it, kind of shoved all that bad stuff away. And now all you think about with the Redskins is, pigs. Sometimes because they have the piglets that go to the stadium and stuff, or hogs. But that was another term of endearment because they're big football guys that were there, so it's like a big football term. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, whatever, but
I actually
right now the term and I'll use it now. Right now, the term faggot has a very negative connotation to it, where the term redskin really doesn't.
I actually am more offended by the entire concept of using American Indians as some kind of icon and symbol that Americans are proud of. They were savages that you hated. You did your best to wipe them out. You still treat them like shit to this day. It doesn't matter.
You get casinos. You get casinos.
No.
Come on now. Casinos. I wouldn't mind a casino, man. Let me get a casino.
Nice casinos.
Let me get a casino.
Yeah. Nice ones.
Okay. I pay attention to what goes on in American Indian news and what the tribes are still fighting the government for.
And fighting each other for.
They're fighting the government far more. No, they fight the government far more. They do not fight it. They actually band together as much as possible to fight the government. Right now, there are over 47 cases up in the federal government that the tribes are fighting the government over. This still goes on to this day.
Oh, hold on a second here. Again, I happen to have some knowledge of this issue, at least on one instance I can name. There is another tribe that is up in the Panhandle, that has been in the Panhandle for the 125 years that they have to be in a tribe to be considered a tribe. But there's another stipulation to do that, and that is they are recognized by the other Indian tribes. And the other Indian tribes refuse to recognize them. And the reason that they do is for one reason and one reason alone: casinos.
Right.
Yep.
You're going to tell me that ain't a group of the Indians keeping the other Indians down?
That is one example.
I'm only giving you one. I only got one to give you.
Nationwide. That is one instance here in Florida of what's going on. Nationwide, that is the exception, not the norm. Not all Indian reservations are trying to build casinos.
Some of them are really bad.
Most of them would rather not draw people.
Well, they should leave them alone. Is what they should do with the American Indians. And
and that's mostly what they're fighting to try and accomplish. It's the lack of respect that they get and how they are still to this day discounted and treated as refuge and savages. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
And as if
And it's systemic.
and then for people to name sports teams after them and put their images on and sell a hat for $20 with an image of an Indian on it, it's cool for that. But when the court cases come up, oh, fuck you guys. Go back to your fucking desert land that we gave you that you didn't even want before because you never lived there.
Or the swamp.
Yeah, we gave it to you because nothing lives there. We were hoping you would die. Go back, please.
Wow, that's yeah. I hear you, man. It sucks.
Well, is there a difference between the Washington Redskins and the Florida State Seminoles?
Oh, the Seminoles is another one. Well, the Seminoles is actually the name. So, like, the Redskin is not an actual, like, there wasn't the Redskin tribe, I don't think.
Yeah, it is at least named after a local tribe to Florida.
That's my point. Is now because the Florida State Seminoles has had this same battle, and people have been complaining about that too.
The way I see it, if the Seminoles are upset about it, then they have a beef. Here's the other thing. There is a lot of white guilt on these issues, too. A lot of people with a lot of white guilt who want to take up these battles that aren't necessarily there.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have any of that.
If you're talking about organizations.
If you're an American Indian that's offended by the name Redskin, more power to you. If you are a guilty white person offended by the name Redskin, go out and get you some more life experience and find something to get really pissed off about that you fucking experienced yourself.
Hey, don't feel bad. They're going to put the rest of us in the camp soon. So
we'll all be in the camp.
We'll all be there soon enough, man.
Well, my wife's tribe doesn't even exist anymore. Her tribe was Creek, and they don't even have them.
That sucks. I have no Indian in me. I'm just saying. You know what though? I wasn't around. My
that used to be a great opening for me when we all said it.
We all just left that alone.
My relatives came over here like in the turn of the century though, so we weren't part of the main thing. I mean, we probably got into a little bit of it, maybe kicked one down the road or something. But there wasn't a whole lot of Indians in Iowa though. They just didn't move to that, or we threw them out there early. So it's a nice area though. So it was a little cold at times though. I wouldn't imagine they were there a lot. They were probably nomadic in that aspect, which most of them were. So, which is the problem when you don't own land, man. You just get you're not on anything that you call your own, man. You thought that the earth owned it and stuff, and we threw deeds at your face. Like, nope, here's a deed. You wrote that deed yourself. That tough shit.
It's more of a
here's a blanket.
It's more of a spiritual concept because
I understand what you're saying.
The land's going to be here when you're dead, so you go ahead and say you own it. That's really as simple as it gets, and a lot of people try and make these arguments about property and all this. That's fine. You want to say you own this land? What the fuck ever. This land's going to be here 2,000 years after you have rotted away. You're going to be dust and not forgotten.
Well, hold on a second thoble. I want to ask you a question about this. I'm going to challenge you a little bit here.
That's a fair assessment.
Oh, no,
you go first.
Hold on, though. I'm going to ask Greg, though. This is a good time, though. I like this. I like when we do this. By that rationale, you could also make the rationale that where you live, that anybody could walk in there and just do whatever they wanted to do then. Or do you own the rights, maybe not own the property, but you own the rights to that thing of land right there?
As long as you're there to defend it.
So, but if let's say you went to work for the day, right? Does somebody have the right to go in there and and have a good time in your house?
Here's the thing you have to understand. You're putting your current modern day socioeconomic understanding into a time and place that this is completely foreign to. Yeah. You're talking about a tribe of people that followed buffalo. They did not consider this spot of land theirs because they were going to be here for a few weeks at best.
Well, hold on a second though. Like any civilization, the Indian civilization if it would remained untouched, would have, more than likely, given the human condition in and of itself, would have begun to change the way in which they would live. And at a certain point, property rights and property ownership could have very easily come into play. Maybe not called the same thing that it's called right now, but the concept of this is my house because I built it right here and I get to live here and you don't get to come into my land. They did have territory that they fought over, which was kind of like land. I mean, it is land, but it wasn't over a deed or nothing like that. But wouldn't you say that that's a very real possibility?
It comes back to exactly what I said, as long as you're there to defend it, because there were also tribes that were not nomadic, that did start to use agriculture and did have settlements that were permanent, and they stayed and defended them. And their claim of ownership was that we are here.
Okay.
And their concept was not one of ownership. They did not consider that land their property. This was the land. This is the land we are using. We are here now, and we are using this land. We are, and that is it. There is no concept of I own this, because I'm going to be gone, and this land is going to be here. It is very much in part of the spiritual understanding that they had. You cannot separate the spirituality from this political issue that we're talking about with them, because they were led by their spirituality.
Yeah.
And when you have an understanding of the concept that I am going to be gone, the land is still going to be here, the land is greater than I am, I cannot claim ownership over this land. At best, I am property of the land. I should thank the land. That's their understanding of
Yeah,
things.
I got you. Oh, I got you.
So it's just as much your property. Yes, come. You want this
two
land also, please. We need some shit planted.
But they weren't always doing that though.
No, they weren't. There was fighting.
But there was good people as well as bad people. It's not like they were all savages. And the way that the government treated them, to be honest with you, was horrendous at best. And
well, the thing is, this kind of concept that I'm talking about is what made people go, well, you're a fucking savage because you should say you own this land and I want to own this land. So if you don't understand property rights and the fact that this land is mine, then you must be a savage and you're backwards barbarians and you must die. I mean, wait, you don't.
Well, like I said, man, you got casinos now, so it's a good time. Look, to be honest with you, what they ought to do is they ought to sell all the damn government land that they got and then give it out, and not give it out, I don't think it's the right word for it, but put it up for sale. Everything the government owns, they ought to just put up for sale. That would lower the prices down enough to where everybody could own their own piece of the land.
Well,
be like the big boom all over again.
There's a lot of shit they own that nobody wants, and that's why they still own it.
Well, but because nobody's done it the right way, though.
Well, no, there's nothing there. I mean, the Badlands. There's a reason that it has that name. There's a reason nobody wanted it. There's nothing there but death.
Well, there's modern technology not going to fix some of that stuff.
It's modern technology can fix the desert.
Well, you can fix the conditions that you're living in. You know what I'm saying? You can make a home almost anywhere now. And with the problem we got with all the people living in the cities, we got to spread everybody out anyway. So go with it. People can work from home. Commute, man. Do what you got to do. There's tons of area in Florida that's owned by the damn government. That ain't desert. Some of that swampland, but you throw a couple poles in down at the bottom.
Yeah, swampland is no better than desert.
Well, here's the thing though. But some of that stuff you can use though. There's usable land that the federal government owns. It ain't all like that. You know what I mean? And they own a lot of it. Look, they own 35% of the damn state of Florida, man, and they're getting ready to buy more. Holy crap!
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there is a place for anyone, whether it's government or anyone else, to kind of try and control development and not pave the planet? Have you ever seen a picture of New York City from Google Earth?
Yes.
Yeah. It is a giant piece of pavement with a square of green in the middle.
Wow, it sucks. But you wouldn't see that all over the place, though. If you spread everybody out, you wouldn't see that.
Not necessarily.
You would. There are not enough people.
We grow exponentially.
You know how much longer you'd have to grow. I mean, you could give everybody like an acre or something and fit everybody in like 3 states.
Barring some sort of catastrophe, asteroid impact, alien invasion, nuclear warfare, the population is going to continue to grow exponentially.
Yeah. And we can handle about 5 times what we got right now. 5 times what we got right now.
And it's going to continue to grow. And I'm not saying that in 20 years, United States is going to be asphalt from from Pacific
Certain
to
areas
Atlantic,
are though
but-
because they want to bring everybody in one place together. Agenda 21. Again, we should be spreading people out. The fact that we've lost the rural areas and that people leave the rural areas to go to the urban areas is a problem in and of itself. But it's a systemic problem. One based off of the damn Fed, and the other one based off of the fact that we don't grow local anymore. That we stopped growing local. Like we should go. Look, when it comes to a lot of the things that the Indians did when it came to being self-sufficient, I totally agree with. We should do more of that, but we don't do more of that by making a rule. You do more of that by actually getting rid of the damn rules and moving towards a society that is much more self-reliant. That the government should be there. Look, I'm not an anarchist, so I believe in a government. I believe in a federal government. I believe in a state government. I do believe in those things. I believe in a local government, as a matter of fact. I like having those things there. But all of them, I think, have a specific role to play. And most of the stuff that the federal government does, they shouldn't be doing. Like 80% of that stuff, they shouldn't even be doing anyway. The states, about half, I guess, I'll go with. And everything else is handled by your local area and charity. And then it should be done on a voluntary basis. Matter of fact, we just had this happen here. Next door to me is Snowbirds. And the Snowbirds left to go back up to wherever they're from. I think Massachusetts. Now, it rained a couple days pretty heavy here. And so their lawn, the weeds got up high. The lawn itself isn't real high, but the weeds, because it rained a lot, the weeds grew up high.
Right.
So what did the city do? They stuck a damn threatening note on their door that if you don't friggin' mow your lawn, then we're going to abate you and we're going to fine you for having grass that's long.
So did you do them a solid and go mow their lawn?
I did them a solid. I mowed their lawn. Right. Well,
Right on.
not by myself. Kelly, Danielle helped. We all did it. Now we don't have an electric mower. We have a push mower.
Oh.
So we were doing it for a
That
little
used
while.
to be our punishment. We had one of those.
We did it for a little while, but then the guy next door across the street saw that we were using a push mower for the lawn and it wasn't working very well because the weeds don't get mowed down with that thing because it was wet still, kind of,
Yeah.
But you got to get it done right away, so you're screwed. So we got to work what you got. This guy brought us his powered mower, and I mowed the lawn down, and we called the city the next day and said, "Look, man, you put a note on their door. It's mowed. Take them off the list." And they took them off the list. But the thing is this: look, I'm against the code enforcement anyway. But what I wish they would do if we're going to have a city that's going to want to make it, because here's the thing: the goal is that you want to make the city better looking and more beautiful, right? And that's your goal, right? Then put up hey man, explain to people why they should mow their lawns and why they should keep their yard beautiful, and put it in the note. Put a little reminder note there. Here you go, a little reminder note. Not that we're going to fine you, not that we're going to do anything. Hey, can you mow your lawn? It's kind of looking a little long. That, and here's the thing, I don't really want that, but let's say we wanted to do something, like the city made a decision, the people in the city wanted to beautify their city, I would have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with when it comes to the city stuff, and this is where it gets into libertarian ideology though, is if you have a structure that you have abandoned and allows itself to be infested with rats and insects and things that can spread disease, and that is so bad that it goes to the other houses and yet has a home base in your neighborhood, I think the city, after all the due process in the world, the city has the right to come in and tear something down. One, because you've abandoned it, and two, because that does infringe on the rights of other people, namely their neighbors.
Yes.
However, that process is very long. And you have to prove it. Like the neighbors around it have to say, yeah, I got a friggin' roach problem here, and this is where they're coming from.
Unfortunately, most people are douches. Because I'm reminded of a story about 2 years ago over in Tampa. I saw it on the local news. Old lady hasn't been maintaining her yard. She's got a pool that's turned into a scum pond and everything. Lady's like 78 years old. She can't mow her lawn. She can't take care of this pool. Her neighbors, instead of going to help her, are going to code enforcement and going to the city saying, "You guys got to do something about this woman. It's horrible." They're not going over saying, "Hey, you seem to be having trouble maintaining your lawn. There's rats living in here. Can I mow your lawn for you?"
Yeah.
Most people are dicks. Most people suck. That's why I'm a libertarian, because I'm a misanthrope, because I hate people and I don't want to give any one of those dicks power over anybody, because I don't trust any of them.
Well, yeah, but what if you had a city government that said, look, man, all that we can do is write them a nice little letter that says that it would be nice if they did that. However, we can't really do anything about it. Why don't you guys all band together and go help them? since you're complaining right now. You obviously have some skin in the game on this one. Why don't you go over there and ask her if she needs some help? I'll bet you she'd let you help him because she's 78 freaking years old.
Yeah.
If you had a government that said that to people, then it would make people have to do that. It would force their hand. If you really want to fix it, then you got to go over there and fix it. Mm-hmm. And be honest with you, though, I think more people would be willing to do that. They go, yeah, you're starting to see it now anyway, though.
But they can't justify budgets by pushing interaction amongst the
Well,
community.
no, you're right. Oh, no, I hear you there. That's why we got to be involved, and that's why you occupy that shit.
Can we end the show with boobs?
Oh, yeah, let's end the show with boobs.
I really want to end the show with boobs.
I know you do. I know you love boobs. You're a very big fan of them. I hear it. Trust me, I share your affection for the boob. I do. So, go ahead.
So, Sophie Dalzell, a 20-year-old topless model in Manchester, England, skipped the court date on a charge of assaulting 2 police officers because she flew to Belgium to get breast augmentation surgery, and the court let her get away with it. Quote, "My boobs and my appearance are more important than the law," she says, who makes her living appearing on late-night adult TV programs. "My career depends on it." The January operation was the second time she's had surgery to make her breasts bigger. She's 20 years old. Second breast augmentation surgery. She's already racked up 11 convictions on various assault and vandalism charges, presented a letter to her plastic surgeon confirming she had the breast enlargement surgery if the Manchester magistrate couldn't tell for himself. The court then let her go. The so-called glamour model is refusing to perform a court-ordered 400 hours of community service because she says that picking up trash is too hard and tiring. She says that her normal schedule consists of about 2 work days a week, and she's paid about £500 to £850, about $850 per photo shoot. And the rest of the time, I just chill out. It's not at all fair, she said, for the court to force her to clean up litter and rake leaves for no pay at all. So she's simply refusing to do the community service because she hates everything about it. And it's a waste of a full day, and it's just too hard for me. So instead, she plans to spend the summer on the resort isle of Ibiza on vacation and deal with the consequences when I get back. She's already fulfilled a bit more than half of her 400 hours she was ordered to perform in 2012 for the drunken assault of 2 police officers. In the final 180 hours where she's drawing the line. She also owes £150 in fines. She's not paying. She's not doing her community service. She's not doing time. She also refused to wear her electronic ankle bracelet because she's a model and it would interfere with, showing off her tits. So, yeah, she says she hasn't done anything wrong and the courts are just jealous because she managed to escape the rural northwest England county of Cumbria where she grew up, and I've done something with my life.
No, really, those are quotes. You're just jealous because I've done something with my life. I work in porn. I'm 20 years old and I've had 2 boob jobs.
I like this girl.
I have 11 convictions. But you're just jealous.
You know what? I'm jealous.
Something.
Think about it. If you're 20 years old, years old and can afford 2 boob jobs already, $10,000 a piece.
If you're 20 years old and you've already got 2 boob jobs, you are so going to regret that later.
You absolutely.
Oh my God, that is way too young.
I'm just saying, if you're 20 years old and you're getting cash like that, God.
No, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
Jealous.
Apparently, you did not actually look at the picture of her.
Oh, really? It's not like that kind of picture?
All hair and makeup.
Oh, geez. Nah, that's not cool.
Ain't nothing real about her.
Nothing but hair and makeup.
But I'm sure she's insisting on a real man. Her hair is dyed. It ain't that color. She's got makeup on. Her face don't look like that. She's got boob jobs. She's wearing heels. There ain't nothing about her that's real, but she insists on a man that's real and tells the truth, I'm sure.
She got a lot of boobs.
Well, they're paid for. I would hope so.
She's got a lot of boobs. So, I give her that. Oh, gosh. You get the topless ones right on the Twitter feed, huh? Oh.
You don't make anybody pay for it, huh? Free service.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't even realize that. I just clicked on one of the pics, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on there?
Wait, I have to come around.
Hold on. I got to get back to it now. Hold on a second here. Oh, it's making me sign into Twitter. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it without signing in.
So hold on.
Oh, there you go.
There they
How are you doing?
Oh, they're so obviously fake. And
Yeah.
dude, seriously.
And the lips, I don't like the
Are
lips
Are
either.
you seriously going to tell me, as a man, that there's anything about that you find?
Well, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating that.
So I'll tell you
I
what-
wouldn't turn it away.
No, I definitely wouldn't be turning it away.
Tell you what I'll do for you folks. I'm going to post the news story. You can then search her name and find the Twitter feed for yourselves. But I'm posting on the Off the Rails Facebook page the news story. You can copy and paste her name and then find the Twitter feed. It's not hard. Or Instagram. Apparently they're there as well.
My gosh, she just really.
So David said that we now need regulations on coding and on beautification. Is this of the girl or of the lawn?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
Mow the girl.
Which conversation are we talking about here?
That is really funny, by the way. This total.
Look at that. That is all hair and makeup.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that that's real.
Oh, and that guy's got two mustaches.
That girl's
Look at that, though.
face off,
You know, to be honest with you, you're sounding like a little bit of a player here.
Yeah,
You're just jealous, Veronica.
I'm okay with that girl.
I'm just jealous.
Like that's. Don't get me wrong. It's fake, man, but it's still fake, though. Like so, you know.
It works.
It's fake, but it's still fake.
It works. It works for the profession.
I have fucked way prettier girls than her.
Oh, I look.
okay?
That here's the thing, though. But that's a different argument for a different day, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, just the fact that she's willing to get naked on Twitter is a little bit of a plus, isn't it?
She's willing to get
Really?
slutty on the internet, too.
Yeah. I mean, that's you know, you got to give somebody points for that.
Now-
either
now
way, it's not
now
my
this
fault
girl
because I'm
is,
not on that jury. If I was on the jury, I'd throw her in a hole for a long time. Well, it depends on what the crime was that she committed, though.
52% of the planet has tits and an internet connection. This woman is not special.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I bet you she's a horrible lay. She probably just lays there and makes you do all the work.
Yep.
Just saying.
Well, could be. All right, well, we're ending on the boobs anyway then, right? It's
Yeah.
12:36 anyway. All right, guys, that was the show. Again, if you want to call the program, it's 1-800-525-4032. Refresh Telecom, 1-800-525-4032. But don't call right now because we're going to end the show. Hope everybody liked the show this week, man. Hope you enjoyed the speakeasy known as Off the Rails. Very hard to find. It's not like we promote it very well.
It's masturbatory.
But we have fun with it, though.
Masturbatory.
It is totally masturbatory, though. It really is.
Speaking of porn,
I feel
stars.
bad. Speaking of, it's Liberty porn, baby. Liberty porn. America. All right, Liberty on Herb. Off the rails. See you next week.
Yeah.